Live.
Hello?
D-Batch?
Okay.
Is that you? We're live, D-Batch.
Oh, shut up.
We are.
Oh,
Hey, welcome to Real Deal Xbox Podcast. You guys want a quadruple check here and make sure we're live, but we should be very live. I think this is my first podcast with like a really nicely padded out room. I just took a bunch of old mattresses from the curb and duct taped them to the wall. Sounded pretty good.
Did you wake up Colt when he was sleeping on them and took them from him?
No, I didn't steal them from Colt. You know, Colt needs those. But today, chat, you're going to love this. You're going to love it. And if you're early, by the way, hit the like button. Maybe share it out with a buddy or 500. That'd really help. As we do get into all of the best topics that you want to hear about from the perspective of Xbox fans, both Xbox and PlayStation related, we're gonna destroy with this whole Halo Infinite thing. So many crackheads out there talking shit on my boy Master Chief, and when it comes down to it, the game looked good, and we're gonna have to do extra work tonight for everybody in the chat that is just annoyed by the amount of stupidity they've seen from a certain group of people on Twitter, YouTube, anybody looking for clout, corny fucks. We're gonna go in on it. We're gonna have a good time with this, okay? So we got some introductions. Fonzarelli, are you here? Okay, I'm not seeing you in the preview, but I heard the soundboard. We're gonna do some introductions. We'll give some shout outs. We all got some good thoughts on Halo and everything that's happening. There's a lot going on, and it all starts now. So again, thanks for joining us. Hit the like button, share it out. We do appreciate it. D-Batch, another week, another podcast. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Still reeling off of the news, man. I was impressed with what I saw. I know we're going to get into it in the show. So before I let the cat out the bag on my feelings on this game, let's get on with it.
Oh, and speaking of games, this is Far Cry 6 running on Series X. Last week, footage was a little dim and stuff, so I really took a lot of time and tried to make this bright without washing out the colors and stuff, so should be a little bit more indicative. Hey, Fonzarelli, how you been, brother?
I'm good. Funny story. I'm sitting here. I'm talking with my family. They just got home, and I'm cooking dinner and everything. And I'm like, I go to the TV and I turn it on and I look at YouTube and it says upcoming Dealer Gaming RDX podcast. I'm like, whoa, oh yeah, what time is it? Oh shit! I go running over to the computer.
This is the kind of panel members we have on our
freaking mind. Yeah, and I was ready for it. I even told my wife, yeah, it's podcast night, blah blah blah. And I just, man. Anyway, I'm here and I'm hearing great things about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think I might pick that up, man. I think I might pick that up.
Hans, I have to confess, I did the same thing. I was playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I looked up at the clock. It was 8 o'clock. I was like, oh,
don't y'all motherfuckers know how to say, hey, remind me when it's fucking 6:45 or 7:45 on your cell phone or something?
Oh, man.
I do that. I would forget if not for Siri. Okay.
No, I never forget about RDX, but this one time, I was like,
yeah,
wait a minute, it's RDX time. So, I'm here.
Hey, we've already got 500 people. Just listen to the intros. So we do appreciate you, chat. Thanks for being patient. We got Tim Dog, xCloud. Tim Dog, how you been, brother?
A really good week, and we got a lot to talk about. So I'm really excited to go into this stuff. We have a bunch of news, and we're gonna have this is our first time. We got some big news here, so I'm going to be excited to talk about it with the panel.
Oh, yeah. And then we've also got Zaku87.
What's up, buddy? I'm looking forward to today, because honestly, yesterday was just such a... I don't give a shit about the negative people, man. Like, I put it on Twitter, like, everything's showing out pretty well. Like, gaming's looking good. Halo Infinite, tech test, now this. Like, the campaign looks good. Everything's just looking really solid for the game, and Guardians of the Galaxy was getting so much hate, and I'm 4.5 hours in, and that game is fucking badass. I don't care what anybody says, man. I'm having a good time gaming, and I'm getting ready for this. Look at these reviews for Age of Empires, which I was lucky enough to play. I mean,
Xbox, I got a little video coming out tomorrow.
I do got a video coming out tomorrow about it, man. I put over 20 hours in that bitch. It was fun as hell. So, hey, man, it's all positive. Xbox, all positive in gaming. It's all positive everywhere, man, even in Sony. So there's a lot of shit going on, and it's just great for everybody here watching and us.
Well, positive for those of us that knew God of War was coming to PC. Hey, we got to give a shout out to Michael Turner, who says, finally some real news. That time of the week, sir. Yes, sir. Then we've also got Chaos Mike, $10 Super Chase says, excited for Halo campaign. Can't wait. Just hoping the new AI doesn't sound like an annoying teenager all game, even though she's new. hit the like button. Appreciate it, brother. Then we've also got Monkey Crow. Shout out to you, brother, in the super chat. He didn't have anything to say. Maybe it's cut off, actually. Let me try to pull this down. Oh, he did. Okay, so I'll get to that in 1 second, brother. But again, we've also got KY Bob, who's guesting. We talked a couple months ago, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have you on in a couple months. KY is a good friend. We play games, and you know what? He's been a great supporter of the show for a long time. He's doing his own thing. So how you been, KY?
I'm doing really good. Really excited to be here. Excited to be on the show that really started my love for gaming podcasts. Started listening to RDX 3 years ago. Fell in love with it, and I'm very excited to be on the panel tonight with all these great individuals to talk about the news and Craig's old uncle, Harry the Henderson.
Hey, KY is like the time traveler. What is that? The time traveling, the motherfucker that put shit in the mailbox from the Notebook or some shit. I don't know what movie that was, all right, but that was very romantic. Thank you very much. Monkey Crow, by the way, says, let's go, best Xbox podcast on YouTube. Halo Infinite campaign looks like fire. You would be surprised how many people, their eyeballs are on fire because they didn't see what the hell I saw, at least in 4K.
People are going to hate me.
Fine,
Well, let's go.
The game looks good. It's not really debatable.
Yeah, there's parts.
Fonz,
We
really?
can talk about that.
All right, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that for sure. But again, I got to give some patron shout-outs here to the shout-out tier on Patreon, starting with Terrific Straight G11. Holy shit, I got it right, brother. Thank you so much for being patient. Dave, Incubus, Ricky, Falon, Faultline Z, Not Silek, Bad Boy Live, Achievement, Nano Polymath, Zordon, Costanza, KY, Bob, Goose 8402, Star Khalifa, Assassin Lupa, Foreign Object, Assassin Lupa, hit me up on Xbox. Foreign Object, Gab Queez Tail, John Paloof, Eggball, Steve RDX, Real Deal Nil, Suicide King, Tissy Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, All Might, Dark Seamuff, and Alfonso Hogan. That updates about the 5th of every single month. And I will be introducing patrons into the beginning and end of pretty much every video I do here in the coming months. So I'm going to be doing some more things for you guys. But hey, let's start out with Halo. 7 minutes of campaign. Chat. Let us know what you think about this as we go. Because again, you powered the show. We want to know your thoughts and maybe we want to comment on some of these thoughts. But Halo has 7 minutes or so of story mode. And people wanted to see the campaign. They got the campaign. I want to say first and foremost, all right, my little soapbox. Motherfuckers are stupid. Okay, because we have a whole group of people that, for one, think they're handing out L's when in fact they're the only ones getting the fucking L's because they told everybody cross-gen was the reason the game looked the way it did when it looks dramatically better, in my opinion, than it did a year ago. And that's not really debatable, right? I showed the side-by-sides in my last video. You cannot debate these things. It does look better, meaning that it wasn't the old Xbox holding the visuals back. So you get the L. And secondly, when you're taking people's shit out of context, or you're not really referencing what they're talking about, you're not even watching their own video where they talking about it in front of way more people than you do, meaning they're not afraid to talk about it in any way whatsoever. Halo looks good to me, okay? The bit at the end with all the post-processing on it, it's not running at the same resolution, frame rate, nothing. We knew that it was razzed up for something. Turns out that was for a commercial, just like they used other game assets or the Slip Space engine demo they showed a year or two ago in the commercial as well. What are your thoughts on this, Tim Dog? As somebody who's been keeping up with Halo Infinite for quite a while, what were you seeing out there? How were people in Redmond feeling about this?
Well, I can tell you, they're really excited about the response. Like, I got a couple of messages from people just out of the blue yesterday. I haven't talked to in a while, and they were like, "Great day today." And stuff like that. Basically, I mean, I'm just even looking, we were talking about this pre-show. You take Xbox's channel, okay, on YouTube, okay? It is still trending at 6 right now. So it's still be going on. This is the 4K portion. And it has 1.5 million views, which is a lot for a day. The likes is 122,000. And there are 3.2K likes. Now, if you compare that...
So the opposite of a crap gamer video.
Right. Now, if you compare that to last year's, at the same time, July 23rd, 2020, they already have more views. So they had 1.3 million views. And they had 44,000 likes, which is 3 times less than the likes they have now, and they have 4 times more dislikes, 13K. Now you could do Halo channel and you could do other things. It's the same thing. A lot of people really were impressed. They came away. Personally, I was the least critical on this panel. You guys went crazy when it came out. And I would say kudos to you because definitely looking side by side, I'd rather play this than play what I had last year. But I was really excited about it. So I wasn't one of these people that were, on the graphics as much as others and were outspoken about it. But whatever the case is it's a very good thing that happened because I really feel that the game is in a good state. As far as graphically, yeah, there's some things missing. Which we all know about. I would have liked to have ray tracing at launch, but it is what it is. It's for what they're giving, which is a full-on campaign, full-on multiplayer. I'm excited. December 8th.
That's a good point, Tim.
Yeah,
No ray tracing at launch, and it still looks that damn good, though.
Yeah, so it's gonna listen. This game is the slipstage engine. They're gonna become more and more familiar. It's gonna keep improving. They're gonna have a ton of content come out post launch, and that includes not things that they haven't already promised like Forge and co-op, but they will have. I think that they'll have a big season update or however they have a big plan for this. So I'm really excited about it. I just have to say I'm just happy for 343. People are happy, so that's all I can say. Sure, there's people that are nitpick it. You can nitpick anything.
Well, why don't they? I mean, we got to remind those people they're in the minority, and I'm not talking about people like Fonz that might be not as impressed as he would like to be. Right? There's a difference between someone like Fonz. Anything Fonz says tonight, he's not out of hate. And I think that's important for people to remember. There's a group of people out there that despise this game because it is attracting attention and eyes from not only media personnel, but gamers. They're happy with what they played in the beta. They're taking pictures of a texture is a crime now. And at the end of the day, anything that sucks attention away from Sony, and which you think would be the opposite, given that all your shit's going to PC and you should want that attention to be sucked away. But anything that sucks attention away from something they love or is pro Xbox, they can't stand it, and that's really their problem with it. So it's a very special group of people, and there's a reason it's that group of people. Normal gamer over here, no, he's not saying this shit. And fans of Halo, they're not saying this shit. Like random fuck at the bowling alley, yeah, he's playing bowling. He don't know what the fuck Halo is. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more of them not understanding that. Like, if we look at Xbox, the last 2 or 3 years, Xbox hasn't really released their biggest franchises, right? Halo hasn't been around in 6 years. So I think this attention and the way that Halo is taking over the gaming space, because let's be real, it really fucking is. It has completely overshadowed a lot of things going on.
Thanks.
Like, they even put Horizon Forbidden West update, a little update that just got drowned. I didn't even know it until it just got completely.
Did they?
It just
I didn't even know about
it.
They
put out some thing about it, and they put out a video and then a little video, but it was just gone.
They had to have known that it was going to get curb stomped by Master Chief.
Well, I thought they'll probably come back in it.
It's sorry, but you don't have a franchise as big as Halo. I'm sorry.
They were trying to rain on Microsoft's parade. That was pretty clear because the timing that was no coincidence. And I saw a few people throwing it up, saying, "Oh look at look!" But after 2 minutes, nobody cared. So.
But it was because of the way Halo showed, right? The Halo campaign didn't just show this is what I loved about the campaign is that it showed more than what it was saying. It kind of gave you homage stuff. It showed you side stuff, outputs you could take out. But I put this in my video, they talked about an assassin or a guy that's chasing you throughout the game that's trying to kill you. And then if you look at the menu during the upgrade menu, there's a tab on the right that says targets. So little things like that where you're well, what are the targets? Is it outpost targets or is it you're hunting people like the cultists in Odyssey? Little things like that because they're talking about people hunting you, or are you going to be able to be hunting them because you're Master Chief?
I want to.
There's so many more details in the game that we don't know about.
Is there any other details that you noticed, Alker, besides that? Because I didn't notice that.
Well, yeah, no, if you look at the upgrade menu, obviously it's a little bit of RPG elements, but that target menu, I was whoa. And then if you look at the side missions in the world, the world is massive and the map looked different from what they showed last year.
Yeah.
So
it had
I don't
mountains
know
this
how
time.
big. Yeah, it had mountains.
Like Ubisoft, huh?
Well, no, not like. See, like the thing is that like
It did
people.
look
Are
I
really,
don't
like,
care if they
me.
adopt these things, though. I don't care. It's in
I
the
know,
Halo universe, you know.
Yeah, but
Well,
still
to me,
skeptical
it's
of
the new enemy types is what I noticed. Also, like they showed more than just one enemy type. They showed Craig, which was funny. They were like, in Old Friends, they showed kind of like
He
the
was in the
Craig guy.
background licking a
Yeah,
flagpole.
and he got shot. And he got shot in the face. And I was just
Stupid
like,
Craig.
yeah, stupid ass Craig. But no, like that stuff. And then they talked about new enemies, right? They kind of hinted at one that kind of swarms on people. Then they also brought like those other enemies that they
The
showed at
head
the end.
lice.
Like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I thought it looked awesome. I was really surprised when I heard like last night or Sunday night when they were going to show it. I thought like, man, I hope it's at least like 7 minutes. If it's anything less than that, and they show like a minute and a half trailer, people are going to be pissed. But they dove deep
Yeah, they did.
into that thing,
And a lot of
they
people
showed
watched it at
off.
like the 720i interlaced fucking dog shit bitrate, though, right? So if you
Dude.
didn't go back and rewatch it in 4K, like I captured it all, showed it in my last video. It looks a lot better. And honestly, even if you're underwhelmed with the visuals, I just there's parts in that gameplay overview, even on YouTube, without the HDR, without being there natively on your OLED or whatever screen you have, I would put it up against anything. Parts of Master Chief in the dark talking to the AI, like there's things that look absolutely fucking stunning running at 60 FPS in this cutscene. So again, I want KY Bob's thoughts. I want Fonz's thoughts for sure. But I do want to give a shout out to Obi for playing this with me, Far Cry 6. This is me and Obi-Wan in the chat, having a fucking blast. I want to give a shout out to the chat for being here, powering the show. It's 1,000 live already, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't. Tell a buddy or two. We're celebrating positivity and crushing the haters, crushing the critics that are just spewing hate towards something that ultimately they've asked Microsoft to provide them a big blockbuster experience. And whether or not this same guy is saying this shit's downgraded, ain't played it, ain't even seen it in person. So again, hit the like button, tell a friend, because there's a lot of good stuff to talk about here. KY Bob, and I want, Fonz, obviously, I want a good chunk of dialogue from you, so I'm going to save you for last. But KY Bob, what are your thoughts on what you saw yesterday? Everything crossing your mind?
Honestly, that was the best showing that we've seen of a Halo game since 2010 E3, which was the last public showing of Halo Reach before its release in September. And I mean, I know that was a Bungie game, and 343 is not Bungie, but I mean, Bungie's not really Bungie anymore either until they can get off this Destiny train. But it took a year, and it looks really good. I watched it again in 4K HDR, and it was really good. And especially when they started talking about outposts and structures, and I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, the first thing I thought about was Far Cry. But that's what I love about what the Far Cry games have become.
Yeah.
And you've basically just taken my two favorite franchises and stuffed them in a box and made them have a baby. And I could not be psyched more about this co-op. And just like how fun it is to run around
3
in
years,
Far
3
Cry.
months from now, you mean? I mean, you'd be remiss if you had to mention that. It's a negative. We've been there, said that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't ruin my hype to play the game,
Oh no. And I really want to have that campaign experience. I'm one of the people, like fun speculation, I want to have that campaign experience to myself so that I can absorb it and pay attention to every detail before I try and go through it at somebody else's pace in co-op.
So you don't care about it being there or not as much, is basically what you're saying. Yeah.
No, I won't, because by the time co-op is ready, I will be ready to put down Forza 5 for a little while. I will be ready to play Halo in
You
co-op.
found a way to justify it, Bob. I get it. No, I mean,
I still want
when it
co-op.
comes
I still
to,
want co-op.
we all want co-op, right? And even if you don't care or don't need it or don't want it, like there's people out there that do, right? So I get what Bob's saying, though. He's got a plan. He's worked out a plan, and it works. So ultimately, when it comes to Halo, you watched it in 4K. You think it's Far Cry Halo combined, except for you got a super suit, right? And an AI in your head. And it's Halo. Yes. Obviously, the visuals have improved. What are your thoughts on some of that? And then we could throw it to Fonz.
As far as facial detail, blooms around explosions, weapon fire from the energy weapons. I don't even know if
the armor, all the scratches and nicks and scratches on the armor, the weapons, everything. Yeah.
the weapons didn't look brand new, like something Master Chief just pulled out of a ship.
He just went and bought it.
He found. Yeah, like he just went and bought it. It looked like something he had found that had been left behind by somebody who had crash landed on the ground, and he was taking advantage of what he found.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to be really awesome.
I think it has a mixture of like Gears 5, right? And kind of like an open world game. Like Gears 5 had like open world hub, 2 very big open world hubs that were a little bare though, right? Like they didn't have a lot going on, very sparse. But this one, like when they panned, they did it in E3, they panned over the terrain, which you saw a lot going on. But in this one, they did it multiple times and did it while you were in control, or Master Chief was, of like a flying vehicle. So like all you saw was like so much shit you could do around. The world did not look empty. Like that's what got to me. That's what has me extremely excited for that game. It's just like there's so much going on.
Exactly. Fonz, what was
I
your...
know.
Well,
oh, sorry.
Before you get into Fonz, let me just give you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Let D give his.
D-Batch, go ahead.
Yeah, so I unfortunately I looked at it with a microscope, right? I watched it several times, and I got to say first off that it's a big improvement over the previous version that we saw. So anybody saying that it's not an improvement, it's all cap, man. It's definitely looks a lot better. The draw distance is better. I'm not seeing any issues with pop in. The materials look better. The depth of field, the sharpness of the characters. There's more detail on the characters, as you can see. Master Chief's his outfit, his armor. You can see all the scratches and it looks worn and like he's been through some shit, you know? The only thing that I had gripes with, and they're small, I'm kind of nitpicking at this moment, and I think it's because the way it debuted Halo, that it is under a microscope, so I was looking for things. Some of the animations I'm not a huge fan of, just got to be honest with that. It's like, when some of these guys were getting sniped, I didn't like the way that looked. When one of those brutes one of those guys was running towards Master Chief in the hallway there, and he decked him, and everybody's seen that meme going around there that that needs to be a little bit more tight so we don't get things like that. But that's like some idiot really freeze framing it and just catching one frame of it.
Catching one of the few negatives.
That's always been a Halo problem.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed is that when they dropped the I don't know what that aircraft's called, but when he called for it and they dropped it down, and you saw the animations of the
They just hit the ground like,
side of it. Did you see it? It looked really slow, like the frame rate was really low of it. So that was my complaint. But to be fair, we don't know what build we're looking at. I'm pretty sure they're aware of some of these things.
Was it the frames of the game, or was it like the animation rate of the vehicle while it was spawning?
The animation rate was definitely not running at 60 frames per second. That's why.
If it's just to spawn a vehicle in, though, like I'm not going to nitpick that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I hope that they share that up, because it's something that they can do.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that I saw. The rest, it looked fantastic. The new characters, that Halo Hunter, like it looked good. So I don't know what people want. Like everybody wanted them to have a better showing. They have a better showing, and you got all these trolls out there saying all kinds of crazy stuff. But I'm gonna say this right now. Halo will be one of the biggest games of this year. It will sell like crazy over the holidays, and it won't just sell on the name alone. It'll also sell on its replayability, because the multiplayer, we've all played it, or some of us have played it. It's mint, and the story's looking pretty good now. And I've seen some of the toys online, and I guess some of the toys are spoilers, so I don't want to say too much, but there's going to be looks like there's a few characters in this game, some new characters coming into the mix. So I'm excited for it. I think it was a good showing, and haters, piss off.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Fonz here in a second. Let me read a few of these, catch up on some of these guys. Danny Passion, by the way, says, I don't blame Fonz. Time flies when you're with family. And agreed. He says, let's go RDX. Let's have a fire show. We've also got Splendiferous. He says, that was the first gaming podcast I listened to. Also, he's talking about KY Bob's statements. Appreciate you, brother. Then we got Lord Starkiller, $10 super chat. He does say Halo Infinite campaign overview was fire. Saw quite a few critics comparing comparing Infinite to Killzone 2 or Shadowfall. Were they really? Said the trees in Infinite looked like Legos. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna block them motherfuckers. And then we've also got, I gotta catch up on a few of these here. Humble Beast, shout out to you, brother. He says, last year, last year shouldn't have happened. Yes, agreed. The new graphics should not have happened either. Why does it look like a 343? I struggled. Okay. Display next-gen graphics. Why does it look like they struggled to display next-gen graphics? One of the biggest features is not there yet. Ray tracing. Secondly, this is something we do have to tackle, Fonz. This game has had two or three creative directors, right? This game is developed during a global pandemic. I think it still came out the other side quite nicely. And I also think this game has been developed for 4 to 5 years now. So you're talking about a game of its age, of its time, running at a good frame rate for an open world shooter like this too. I'm not complaining. I think Slip Space is a next generation engine, one of the first of its kind, running on last generation consoles as well. And I think that's taken some time to wrap people's heads around. It's something a lot of people don't think about too. So I'm not complaining about the visuals there, but I'm really intrigued to see what Fonz has to say. Just a few more of these. Our boy Hargeet says Sony fans with the whining. Of course, he's talking about the Halo campaign, the Halo Infinite campaign showing, and Wilmy and horse sounds. Yeah, people are being a little ridiculous. And then we got Nathan Turner's new channel member. I'll come back to Eternal Shad-Eye here in a bit. But Fonz, I'm sure you were excited about some of the things you saw. Personally, I was excited about the Halo Hunter.
Did you watch my video last night?
I did not get to watch it yet.
Okay. So I basically spell it out, my thoughts in my video. I don't say everything that I'm going to say here, but that's
perfect
because I left some for the podcast. Here's the thing, guys. I liked it. I really liked what they showed yesterday. I thought it was a big improvement over the first showing last year, of course, just like the rest of you. Lighting can do amazing things. The texture work was great, but the lighting for me was the biggest improvement, and that made the world of difference. Okay, it does look night and day better than it did last year. I agree with that. However, there were certain aspects of it that, some of the animations, and it's nitpicky stuff, those sparks. Every time they showed sparks in that campaign, the spark work is not very good with this. I don't know what's going on.
The damn sparks.
Maybe they should have hit up Coalition and said, how'd you do them sparks in Gears 5? Because those were fire. These, not so much. They look like something out of freaking Nintendo 64. I don't know.
Shit.
But here's the thing. It looked great. My one thing is, and people were making fun of me in the chat saying, Fonz's only job here on RDX is to be skeptical. And yes, I'm skeptical because for me personally, 343 has not made a good campaign for me. And it's just, this is just for me. I'm skeptical. I want a good story. I don't want an open world game just made because, well, they wanted to have a good co-op, situation there, or they just wanted a live service game. And, this is the best way to go about it and to implement DLC within this open world. Like, I want a really good single player story here. That's one of the things I'm skeptical about. And the other thing too, is people were saying, Fonz, how can you say that you're worried about this being anything like Far Cry when you like Far Cry or Ghost of Tsushima and all these other open world games? Because of this. Halo is traditionally a game where you just run through. It's more linear because you're either in combat or out of combat. There is no stealth mechanics. There is no stealth in Halo. You shoot one bad guy, the rest of them come right after you.
Yeah.
That is the reason why it's a big difference. You can't go in like you can in these other games.
Are there other games that are open world where there's no stealth?
Well,
like,
I'm
Witcher
not
3 is a good example,
games
right?
either. I'm saying I like open world games where you have that mechanic. I can do it in Far Cry. I could do it in Ghost of Tsushima. I could do it silently, kill people, pick people off without the entire group coming after me all at once. That's how Halo is. And I don't have a problem with that. But in an open world scenario, how is this going to play out? Am I going to enjoy it as much as a linear Halo? That is my
You ever played a game that makes you feel really powerful? And you're like, this is badass. I think they would go that route because, like Witcher 3 from the first game to second game, it went from a more linear to an open world, and there was no stealth, but it's hard to compare. With Halo, you're a super soldier that's fucking 7 foot tall.
But the thing is, even with Witcher 3, you can pick off people. You can kill You can. There's
I've never done it or seen it.
I didn't see like stealth
So-
mechanics in Witcher 3. You
no,
always
not
follow
stealth
the-
mechanics, but you can kill people silently. So here's the thing. I think that this is just my opinion on it. I don't know how it's going to play out. It could be amazing. Who knows? Especially with the addition of the grapple hook mechanic. That really intrigues me. I played it in the multiplayer and it's fantastic.
Dude, it
But in
was
the
good in the
multiplayer-
multiplayer.
But in the multiplayer, you only get a limited amount of grapple hook, you know.
Three
And
hooks.
I hope I think it's got a cooldown on it. I think you'll have it the whole time.
I think they have it the whole time in the campaign, Fonz, and I think the
and I really
cooldown
want
isn't
that to
really
be a
there as
thing
much either.
because that looks like it's a mechanic
Yes.
that really lends well to the Halo universe. It helps out in the gameplay. It makes it look really fun, the stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
That's one thing I take away from what I seen yesterday. It looked great. The graphics look great. It may not be a graphical showcase to me
Agreed.
like some other games, but it looks fantastic for the art style they went for. It looks like, seriously, it looks like one
And the
of
fact that it's
best
been in
Halo games.
development since God of War 2018
Well, I
was.
gotta.
pretty much.
Well, Fonz, I gotta say what you said about
And it
343
looks fun.
not making. Like, I could tell that you're skeptical, but you're excited. But as for like story wise, like I thought 343 did a really good job with like Halo Wars 2 story.
Well, that
I
was
thought they did a
creative
good
assembly
job.
or ensemble.
Well, yeah,
studios
but
or whatever.
they're the ones that managed the story, like because they had to.
Hey,
And
Halo
same
Wars
with
2 had
Halo
one of the
4.
best stories. I'll say that
Yeah,
for sure.
that's what I was saying. Halo Wars 2 had one of the best campaigns in Halo I've ever played. I loved every second of it. And same with 4
Hey.
was really good too. I thought
Hey,
4 had a really
you know
good
what-
campaign.
You know what I don't understand is why people, get so upset and they're like, "Don't play it, then, Fonz."
It's
Can you not
okay,
hear
like,
what
that's
I'm
just
saying?
human
I'm
nature.
saying
Yes.
it looks fun.
It's
I
just
think
human
it
It
nature.
looks fun.
I think
I am
everything
only
that you
skeptical
said.
of two things: the story, because of 343, they haven't done anything for me as far as story, and this open world Halo.
Yeah.
It not really having real stealth mechanics. Am I going to enjoy it as much as I do these other games that do in a big open world setting?
And he
That
will
is my
update you when he plays it. And chat, it's just one of those things where it's okay
could
to
be
disagree or be skeptical, but
Yeah,
at the end of the
it
day,
could be
like
an amazing
looks good.
experience for me, or it
Well,
can't.
that's the
It
lead-
might not. And if it's an amazing experience for you guys, that's cool too. I'm not hating on opinions. I respect them, but I'm just telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
This is how I feel right now. But it looks fun. What I saw yesterday looked a lot of fun, especially with that grapple hook.
I want to throw it to
Speak a little-
Tim here in a second. But I mean, I will say that's warranted, Fonz. Personally, probably like a lot of people in the chat, I don't have a reason to be skeptical of it. I'm just curious, and I want to play the game and just go in there and blow shit up and see what it. Dude, the thought and the idea of an elite that is obsessed with killing Spartans is fucking awesome. And I really hope that's a side mission or something that's built into the game. But Tim,
Well, they
what
have
were
a
you
name for him. They have a name.
Jamba
so he's an
Jamba
actual
Jaku
character.
or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some shit like that.
He
but
escaped
that's why I
out of
was
Star
bringing up
Wars.
that's what I was bringing up those target, man. I think I think it's gonna go with that. Like
You
those
team up
target
with him
labs.
and go assassinate people.
No, I think you kill him and maybe his people. Like maybe he has a bunch of followers that kill Spartans with him. I don't know, man. Like it just sounds. I hope that's what it is, but either way, I think it's cool as hell.
Those elites have families, Zalker.
I don't give a shit.
To
Hey,
speak
I
a little
played
bit on
through-
what Zalker said about Halo Wars 2, I do believe hearing a while back that the Halo Wars 2 story is related to doesn't it run into this?
That's where
It's
Atriox came
directly
from.
right
Halo Wars
after.
2.
Yep, it
Right,
directly
so-
goes right after Halo Wars. Like it
And-
follows Halo Wars 2.
Atriox is
Yes.
involved, but we have not seen him yet.
He's the best too. Like he's the villain of villains. Like as Sorker said, I played Halo Wars. I finished it with Halo Wars 2.
This derpy ass footage.
One of the best stories in the Halo universe I've ever experienced. And just play that game. You can finish it in five hours, or just watch the scenes. Atrax is badass, and that's why I think that they're hiding him right now, or they don't want to show him. I think that's going to be the wow moment when you're at the end of the game, probably fighting him, and it's just on. So
It's like it's a 9-hour campaign. Relax with that 5 hour. It's a 9
well,
hour.
I mean, I
campaign.
finished it pretty quick, but I did do some on co-op, so I don't know.
Okay.
I finished it pretty quick, but Like I said, I played it on co-op with a lot of.
Let me give a few shout outs to some of the guys that are watching the show here. Eternal shout out to him. He says, "What are your thoughts on the new Craig? The new look for Craig, the Brute? What are you real quick? Like, what was the main difference from old Craig in the background running in the bushes to new Craig? Anybody?
I
He saw the light. That's all. They have that picture of him. And
yeah, I mean, he just looks better.
Yeah.
You could actually see the individual hairs on his face and the wrinkles on his chins.
But it was held back by cross-gen. I thought he looked like that because of the Xbox One. How's that possible? Z Black Rider, by the way, says, who weighs more? He says Alloy or Master Chief fight. Master Chief definitely weighs more than
I gotta correct people in the chat saying that why does Fonz always have to have the hot take? It's not a hot take. I'm not making I'm not saying this game is going to be bad. I'm saying that this game I'm just a little skeptical about certain things. I have my own concerns because of my personal taste in games. It's nothing about having like a hot take saying this game's going to be trash because of this.
You don't got to defend yourself, Fonz. You said what you said, and you said that it's just your opinion, and you're excited for the game. You don't have to defend yourself every time someone comes at you.
I understand, but it's just really weird, the mindset of some people.
That's how it is, though. That's how it is. That's how it is. If somebody says they don't like God of War, I'm like, what the fuck did you say? Like, that's how people are, man. So us included. So, just because somebody comes at you over something like that, you don't got to worry about it or defend yourself.
Because, I mean, I've done the same thing with Sony games where I'm like, I'm skeptical about this, and I go into it going, okay, so I was wrong about that. That's great to see. Same thing here. I mean, people, just relax. I mean, I'm just giving an opinion here.
Well, you're skeptical about a few aspects, You're
a piece of shit.
Hey,
we hate you. Halo hater.
Those sparks don't look very good either.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to 1,300 people who watch this live, guys. If you haven't, hit the like button. Tell a buddy or two. Let's try to get closer to 1,000 likes from the show. Shout out to you guys and let us know your thoughts on Halo Infinite in the chat. Spooky Sprocket says the hardest working crew in podcast spaces. Love you, fellas. The Spartans group for slaying the ponies. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I just want to say real quick, though, if you look at the trailer, like just in defense of Fonz, if you look at the trailer, like they're giving us little small beats. So I can understand it. They're not giving us too much of the story. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a weak story. I think they know from the reaction from the last Halo that they need to deliver on this. And at the same time, after the last Halo debacle, I can understand some people being a little bit skeptical, but however, I think it's going to be a good game. I think the story is going to be good. I'm already intrigued. Like who is this secret weapon AI, and like what's going on with Cortana? Who's this new chick? Like, is he going to
this new chick?
Like, what's going on?
That's the thing, D. I don't think anybody on this panel can say, "Oh, it's not going to be a fun game." I mean, we can all agree it's going to be fun. I mean, every Halo I've played, despite me not liking the story, I've had fun playing the game. Again, I played Halo 5 twice, and I don't like that story at all, but I have fun playing the campaign. It's always a fun ride going through a Halo campaign.
Playing stuff, yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I'm just giving you opinions on things to look at this game and go, okay, I can see where he's going with this or that, or when it comes to the open world thing. I mean, I have a legitimate
and that's okay.
thought process on that.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I wanted to bring up about Xbox.
Well, let me finish a few more shout outs here. I'm getting behind here, but Noob Cybot shout out to him. He says, why are we talking about graphics when we all seen the old flighting to the new one? Because for one, a lot of people didn't see the flighting. Secondly, we've been for a year talking about how the consoles of old are not holding back the graphics because we understand how the stuff scales. And that means, a lot of idiots try to come at you because they don't understand stuff. I'm talking about on Twitter, Sony guys largely. And then a year later when it looks dramatically better, which we can all agree, that's when we're going to talk about, hey, how these guys are morons. So just a quick thought process there. David Kirchhoff, shout out to you. He does say, the only thing I didn't like is the grapple shot. It looked a little slow. Listening at 2 a.m. here in the Netherlands. Shout out to you, brother. Thanks to everyone around the world checking us out. The grapple shot, I'm not sure, and I wonder if that's something they can. I'm sure it is because it is a power up in multiplayer. I'm sure they can adjust speed of grapple shot stuff like that.
It's not just the speed, right? Like if you looked at the trailer again, little things. One of the grappling shots, when he shot the grapple, then it turned into electricity, and he freaking electrified a guy and stunned him. Like there's a lot of stuff that like people like didn't notice. Like they're just like, this is awesome. And then it's like, look at the little fucking like I'm just saying,
Hey.
look, I was like looking at the details going like, yo, this
Look-
is different.
What about when he got out of the it's not the Wraith. I call it the Wraith in my video, but it's not a Wraith. It's
Ghost or the
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Wasp.
So yeah,
Ghost,
so he
what?
jumps out of
Banshee?
it. The Banshee. Yeah, he jumps out of it. He shoots one of them. He uses the grapple hook.
Yep.
Gets into that one, boots that. That was like such an epic scene, man. I saw some other
Yep.
parts where he used the grapple hook to grab the big hammer thing there to kill the guy there in the field. Like the grapple hook.
The
especially
grapple
after
hook-
after playing the flight, I think the grapple hook is fine. It has to have that weight to it. You don't want it just to be swinging through because it just wouldn't. It feels right. So wait till you play the game. If you played the flight, you should know that the grapple hook, it feels really good.
Yeah, it looked just like the flight grapple hook to me. It didn't look any slower. It looked the same.
shout out to Hargit again. He says Microsoft just made another $20 billion in profit. Time for the acquisitions. Also, we've got Cedric H. He does say, did you guys notice that the prosthetic arm on the Spartan killer? So he must have been Master Chief probably fucked him up once before, ripped his arm off, beat him with it until he's like crawling on the ground, and he escaped somehow, and now he's back with a robo arm. Sounds pretty cool. And then we've also got Brian Hopkins, $10 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, I couldn't see the high resolution graphics part past all the baby carrots. Love you guys. Zauker, you are all right. He likes you. Shout
Yes,
out
he
to
is
Brian
all
Hopkins.
I'm alright.
And then one more.
He's all right.
Actually, I got to do Lady Foxfire as well. One more from Deadeye, or two more from Deadeye Knight. Jedi Knight Peter. Shout out to you. He says, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about the replayable nature of the new open world. Okay, yeah, we did talk about that. I think KY Bob was talking about that. Nature of all the new Halo. What do you think the most replayable thing will be, Fonz? I mean, obviously, aside from co-op 3 months later.
Here's the one thing that I'm looking forward to diving into. Seeing the upgrade abilities. Everything you could do to upgrade certain things. Like you could even upgrade like the grapple hook and your equipment and stuff and your gear. I want to see more of that stuff. Like that's what I'm interested in. I think that stuff will bring a lot of replayability. Honestly. That's I think one thing I think.
That's one thing he
big.
says right here too. He says it'll let you tackle bases in different vehicles, different variety, different equipment. Also, co-op will be amazing. So, I mean, yeah. And then Lady Foxfire says, besides Halo and Forza, awesomeness, maybe BF 2042. What else should we be keeping an eye on?
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up is that
Hashtag Team Fonz.
I think that they're
Hell yeah.
I think like the funny thing is they were talking about that little event with the 20th anniversary, just saying there's not going to be any new announcements, but we'll talk about games that we've shown, blah blah blah, all that. Everybody thought the Halo campaign was going to be there, but now they're just like they just dropped it off. They just dropped it now.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's more of a thing that Xbox wanted. Like people don't understand how many games they have coming out, right? Like Forza 5 is one of their biggest games coming out ever. Right, like it's a massive game. So November, I think they want to concentrate on that, and then December they want it to to be all about Halo plus the Game Awards where they'll announce new games.
Yes.
So
Show
it's like
something new.
holy
For
shit.
Xbox at the end of the year.
It's gonna be it's gonna be absolutely insanity, and I think you should. I think everyone's starting to gear up for it, but just overall, it's as Orca made the point. When they didn't show this in August or whatever that the Keighley thing was,
Canadian Dracula.
everyone was like, "Oh," or there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, there's something drastically wrong with this. They're afraid to show it." And all this stuff, and even myself, I'm like, oh, well, they're probably waiting till the end, and they're going to show it in November. But just the way they came out, and they were like, "Hey, we're ready," and that showed confidence to announce it on Sunday night. And I hope to do that in the future with a lot of their announcements because it just builds up the hype. And then it just exploded on Monday. I mean, like I said, it's still trending.
Yeah.
Trending 6.
And that's 1 million
YouTube.
something views on just their channel. Everyone released that trailer.
Right. And exactly. And they already beat the showing in 2020, the amount of views. So
Yep.
it's just really positive stuff. And
that's,
you know,
I think Tim.
go ahead.
Tim.
No, you go
No, I
ahead.
was going to say, I think that's why that you have so many people out there that are trying to grief this situation. And they're zooming
mad.
in 400% on something in the background, a tree or something.
While
way off into
ignoring
the
Gran
distance.
Turismo 7.
You know, they're doing some ridiculous stuff out there. Ignore those people. You know what? If you look at this and say, oh, it doesn't look any better than last year, you just don't have a brain.
Yeah, you're just lying
don't.
at that point to try to preserve something like a little rat in a
Because-
maze. You got nowhere else to run, really. So
The lighting, seriously, the lighting is what really changes.
it's
Like,
the
I
fucking
agree.
the detail, all the detail,
The lighting
individual
is
parts in the armor, the guns, like KY Bob
yeah, the
said.
lighting did so much to it. There was a lot of texture work done too. If you look at the comparisons on your video, and other people made video analyses too, and I watched a bunch of them, and there is some dramatic differences in texture work as well.
Yeah, so they've gone over it, and we had one of the guys behind the game, Joe from Song of Iron. Check his game out. He released it. He worked at 343 for half a decade, and he told us in a year, look, they can do a lot. They can do a lot, and they had a ton of cool information in that show. But he wasn't lying. And by the way, big shout out, and the last one for a bit, but Tony Bryant, new member for 24 months, he's been a member. He says, happy to be here live. Halo has me hyped, especially the surprising RPG elements. Yes, that's the coolest thing about it, man. It's come forward and to see Master Chief in that role. He says it needs something to wash off the filth of NBA 2K dunk meter. It's yes.
Well, it's
seriously.
like you said, though, like Dealer, you said it really is intriguing that with all these RPG elements, if you play the game and you like really get into it and you probably do all the side missions and you can make your freaking Master Chief like super powerful.
Badass. It's
And
going
I
to give you
know
that feeling of power.
Yeah, and like that is a very for me when I play like Doom or something, like I felt like that. When you get that feeling like you're overpowered, it's a great feeling in a video game. And I
Because
think
the character is that badass in the lore. So it should be like, you don't want to be the Hulk punching robots 14 times before they crush or die, right? They're doing Master Chief justice by sending you, this is what he does in the comics, the movies, the shows, and the fucking video games. He takes out 30 fucking Covenant by himself.
You just made me think about it. Like Doom, for instance. Okay, Doom is pretty linear, and would an open world Doom really be, something that you would love?
Different context,
kind
though.
of thing. But it's not really. They're both
Because Halo
shooters,
is an
very
actual
similar.
ring where they've actually had installations and all these flood and different characters
I
to
know,
go.
but again, it's like you're either in combat or you're out of combat.
There was also people doing this with Witcher 3. Like when they heard it was open world, like, no, I just wouldn't worry about it until it comes out.
Well,
I just wouldn't worry about it.
funny,
No.
It's funny that you're saying
I'm not
this.
sitting here. Yeah,
No,
I'm not
but-
saying that I'm sitting here like worried about it every day. Like, oh my
No,
gosh,
but-
I'm
In the
so
corner, like,
worried,
One
you
of
know?
the things
But
that
no, it's just
Staten
something
said.
to talk about, because
Yeah, no, but
I
what
think
I-
it's pointless to really discuss it though until you really try.
But
it.
what he's saying though, what your concerns are actually what I think that Joe Staten was brought into fix. So they might have had these problems.
Not
and
enough
it's
to
very
do.
possible. No, because Joe Staten, when he came in, he talked about how the structure of the game it's in one of the interviews where they say the structure of the game they changed around because it wasn't flowing. They wanted it to be a more to tell the story type to tell the story in a certain way. So it's definitely possible that maybe it did have those problems, but they not only did they do graphics, they also did a lot of other stuff. And one of the things, like I said, I think he was in one of his interviews. I'd have to look it up, but he definitely talks about that where he says, he had played the game and he finished it a couple of times, and they went in and they reworked some of the things in there.
Yeah. It's
maybe,
like how some people they'll say I don't like Far Cry games or Ubisoft games because there's just too much to do on that map. There's some people out there that'll say that, but then again, I don't want to go the opposite way either and say like I want an open world.
For one, there's people saying there's too much to do on that map. That's the dumbest logic I ever heard because they can choose not to go find collectibles. They can choose not to go do things.
I don't want to go the other way, like with Gears 5, that open world thing where you basically just skiff along, and
we
you
know
don't
it's
really
not
have
that,
much
right?
to do. And you know, and I loved Gears 5, but that was just ridiculous too. Like there was nothing really to do in that little open world.
Yeah.
That little
And we all
space.
talked
That
about
was
that, right?
filler. That was a little bit of a filler.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to
really-
I feel like they
say
need
it
another
was
year with that shit. But Bob, go ahead and give us your kind of final update here on this stuff, and then we can move forward because we got a ton of awesome topics.
I really see 343 going with the open world in Halo Infinite. It's kind of now don't take this the wrong way because it's not. You know how in Destiny, how no matter how many times you've been to a world, your outposts and your structures, they're all repopulated with enemies. I think in Halo Infinite, it'll be the same way. It won't be just because you've defeated an area or gotten so far in the campaign. You're just going to be invited to empty space when you pick back up. Everything is going to, you know,
After you beat
Far
the game
Cry-
in Far Cry, yeah, they do come back.
Right. In Far Cry, you have the option to repopulate all the outposts and stuff. And that comes in real handy when you want to finish achievements. I mean,
Mhm. Agreed.
so yeah,
I think.
I think
Go ahead, K1.
I think it's going to be a repopulating world in Halo Infinite. There's always going to be something to do. There's always going to be a new challenge. I mean, they're talking about a 10-year plan here. So if they've come out and if they're confident enough to say a 10-year plan, then they've got 10 years of plans.
Destiny said the
I
same
would
thing.
say-
though.
Destiny said that too.
Well, I wouldn't say it's repopulated. I'd say it's just we've never been able to fully explore like a Halo ring, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's something they talked about. That's what they
Right.
wanted. They wanted to give people that option to do that and
Yeah.
finally kind of tackle that. It's a massive project. And as for Staten, I mean, I kind of give it to Akeem to like what happened with Anthem. Like they brought in that one guy 18 months before the game came out because they didn't know what's going to be a priority 1, 2, or 3, and he just came in and said,
Don't go
"This is
there.
1, 2, 3." No, I'm just being
Don't go
honest.
there.
Like pushing the
Anthem was
stuff to be
horrible
done.
though.
No, I'm saying it as a development, like where people are just like,
Yeah, and
hey,
it turned out
Development
horrible.
was
yeah, I get
crazy.
it, but like, listen, it's not about like what it's not. I'm not giving
Okay.
a direct comparison. It's going to come out like that. I'm saying that he has to make final decisions.
No,
And that's
I
what
hear
the
you.
game
I
Came
hear you.
out, and he had it. And
Bad
I think
example.
I think he focused the people at the development studio to be like, listen, this is what we're going to focus on, and this is what the game's going to be about, and we're going to get it done. And then they had another year with that delay to really hone in on that and get it completely polished. And from what we saw yesterday and what we saw during the flighting and all that, like I think they did a really good job, and I think he should be commended a lot for doing that and righting the ship a little bit.
Staten even said that he had played the campaign twice and he
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Nice.
So they had another year to work on everything he may have had an issue with.
You
One
can
of
tell
the-
they polished it in that year. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really polished looking. It definitely looks good.
One of the people that I think deserves a lot of credit, or I've heard that really wowed Xbox people, is Pierre Hines. He's also been put on the project along with Joe, and I've heard that he is like they were really impressed with him. So you have two people right there. Obviously, we all know
Amazon
Joe
Basics
Pierre.
adjustable monitors.
It's in some press releases, but like I've heard through the grapevine. Like I've heard from people basically that he's awesome. Like he
And-
came in and whatever he did, whatever Joe did, it obviously shows. They listen. I like the guy, Chris Lee. I met him. He's a super Halo dude. But it was kind of unfair what happened to him and the whole thing. He got thrown into there, and they showed the game and they learned a lesson. But the lesson looks like it was learned, and they made the right adjustments. And right now they just might barrel through 2021 to 2022, and we're playing this still in March. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
that's,
I'll definitely be playing the multiplayer for sure.
yeah.
The campaign though, like it's such a departure from the originals. Like they're trying something different here, and I'm not going to naysay them completely. I'm skeptical, but I definitely have an open mind, and if it's good, I'll definitely tell you, hey, I love this or whatever when it comes out.
Fair. Listen, you're fair about it. Listen, and we talked about this in the DMs and the group DMs. You're completely consistent on it. So I mean, and you're not the only one with it. There's a lot of people that have fears about the Far
Live
Cry
service. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, And as far as the graphics, listen, it gets to that point. I mean, I think Anthony Battaglia of Digital Foundry talked about the animations. Like he says that they're not 60 frames per second. Like the animations are like slower
he
or
confirmed
whatever.
that.
Certain
Yeah.
animations.
Yeah, isn't that though? Isn't
Yeah.
that weird though? How they talk about it in Halo, but I don't know. There's not many games that have 60 frames per second animations and characters.
No,
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, it's warm. Don't get me wrong.
probably-
like I
it's gonna
agree,
be
the
a video
more the
game
better. But
tomorrow.
I'm
But
just
it's-
saying,
but
like they don't go out
yeah,
and
but
hit these
it's-
other games like that about that.
Yeah, but it's glaring in this game. Like,
Yeah,
if you
and like when
go
the
to
brute
looking
gets sniped
for
in
it-
his foot's like where his head was like, ah! Yeah, that stuff is
For
there.
me, listen, the way Anthony talks about it acts like somebody took, like did the worst thing possible to
He
him
acts
in
like
his
he's
life,
that elite hunting Halo
But
Spartan.
yeah, but for me, yeah, maybe I would notice it, but that stuff really doesn't make me crazy. Or the sparks. Yeah, I noticed the sparks, and I was like, that's sometimes, like if I see something like that, you just give it a benefit of the doubt. But that's definitely something that they can fix too. Even with the explosions and stuff like that. There's so many people like talking about the bloom and that it's some are saying it's good, but some are saying it's too short. And
I thought the explosions look fantastic. I don't know.
yeah,
what
like
they thought. I thought it
some
looked good.
some people are like, oh, they should have been longer. I mean, they get people, and it's because of the love of the game. But and like in these Halo threads, that they said this is the way Halo is. Everything is put under a microscope. And that's just, I think it's just a kid.
Well, my microscope is aimed at the
game is
game
huge.
looks good, and most of the negativity is unfounded, or it's just Sony fanboys trying to please their
Listen,
trash fucking people on their channel or something.
Agreed.
Halo's never going to be The Last of Us or
Exactly.
or Spider-Man. It's not that type of freaking game. It's really not that type of game. And
That's
for
right.
the game that it is, it looks fantastic. And let's not forget that this was the father of all shooters. So like show some respect. And you know what? If people want to go out on graphics and say, oh, it doesn't look like Uncharted, like I said, it's not the same type of game. Just wait till Forza Horizon 5 comes out. And
Great
shut your mouth.
point.
Look how much of this map I have
Oh
uncovered.
my God, D,
That
smashed
game
it with
looks
that.
incredible, and I don't know any other platform that's going to have a game that looks of that caliber this holiday season. So
This holiday, yeah, that's true.
And, hey, let me give a shout out to over 1,400 people watching us live, guys. We do appreciate you stopping by the Real Deal Xbox podcast every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, if you haven't considered the like button, let's get closer to 1,000 for the end of the show. And maybe tell a buddy or two. We do appreciate it. This is Far Cry 6 running on Xbox Series X with Obi-Wan there in the chat, one of the moderators. Shout out to the mods, Boss Mod Lethal. We've also got Obi-Wan. We've got Shoguns. We've got Sean Labrie. We've got all kinds of moderators that do stop by the channel and make sure things keep flowing in the chat. So again, give those guys a shout out, a thumbs up. We do appreciate it. Let me give a couple shout outs here in the super chat and then we can move forward. But Uriel in the super chat says, do you think Hellblade 2 will be $60 and a game length? Yeah, I think it will be AAA game length, whatever that might be. I'm not sure what that will be because Call of Duty has been famously kind of short for AAA game. It's made by still what is a smaller team, but according to their own job listings, they plan on breaking kind of boundaries there. Hellblade 2 should be, if that guy can ever stop partying, it should be a blast. The Glitch Doctor, shout out to you. He's a new channel member with that white and red Xbox badge and purple haze. Ooh. Shout out to you. He says, hey, panel, for the next game for Halo, what do you think of the stakes might be raised to... I'm like fucking dyslexic tonight or something. Holy shit. What do you think of the stakes raised? Maybe have a Thanos-like villain. I don't know what they would do to raise the stakes. Cortana's like, is she still in the background trying to take over the fucking universe?
That's what the whole point of the weapon is. That's the whole point of the weapon. She's a counter. The weapon that he's talking to, that like naive AI.
Like, what am I here for?
She knows what she's there for. She even says, she goes, I was here to counter Cortana in case something happens. What does she do? And that's what he's getting. That's why he calls it the weapon, and he's getting it. So now he's forming a relationship with the weapon or that like naive little AI, so they can go and counter Cortana.
Why you keep calling her
The
naive,
original
Zaki?
Cortana
You
will
gonna
show
have
up.
She looks super, dude. She looks super naive. She's like, so what are we doing?
It's like
she
I
looks
can fuck
super-
everything up. What I
Like
do?
it's like
Yeah.
it's a super smart AI, but it's kind of like never been
Like
in
a
the
teenager.
world.
Some people describe it like a teenage girl.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna be the side piece.
All right.
Especially
Well,
that last
enough of that.
part.
Enough of that.
What kind of a monster would do that?
That
Oh
last
my god.
part when she said, "What did Cortana do that was so bad?" I mean,
Like she murdered everything.
But
Oh.
yeah, I mean, in the end, like D, you nailed it, man. Like people, look, I'm a graphics whore myself, but when it comes down to it, it's not all about graphics with these damn games. Like some games are just freaking fun. Halo games have always been traditionally fun.
Yeah.
People complaining about the graphics, honestly, there's nothing really to complain about. As long as you're not zooming in 400 freaking times, it makes no sense.
On a Nokia
Just
phone.
relax. Yeah, on your freaking piece of shit phone at 480i.
And then upload it to Twitter so it can be compressed some more.
They're using their old flip phone for that.
They're still in the Nokia Engage phones.
I like when they
Oh
wrote
my god,
Vaseline on
that
it.
thing.
Fucking Tony Hawk.
Anybody that has time to zoom in like 600 times on an image and then compare it to another image that's not zoomed, get a life.
There was
I've seen people
one
do that
crackhead
and
talking
then-
about Metal Gear Solid 3 on the PS3, like versus Gears. It's like Gears is confirmed to be one of the best looking games of all time, and you're talking about PS3's Metal Gear Solid.
Well,
Like,
there
get
was
the
a
fuck
brute-
out of here.
There was a brute that was sniped on the campaign trailer that was far away. They zoomed into that and then they compared it to God of War. I'm like, really? Are you? It was so dumb.
What about the shot of Master Chief like at the beginning of the campaign overview where he's in the dark, right? And he looks just as good as anything anyone's ever put out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it
but
looks great. Yeah, that scene and even in the hallway scene, it looked really freaking good. The lighting, everything in that scene looked great.
that dude, imagine that shit with HDR though.
Exactly.
Ooh-wee.
Imagine it on your OLED, brother. Oh my god.
It's gonna look good. It's really gonna look
'Cause
good.
I mean, like you can nitpick any game. You can nitpick this Far Cry game. You know, there's a lot of stuff about Far Cry that's not exactly pretty, but you know what? It's fun. Who cares? Move along.
Sir X-Man says that the game is totally optimized. He says go PC. He was at 120 frames, maxed everything, triple screen.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Same here. I was
Yep,
maxed out on
same
it.
here.
It was,
I'm a
And
console guy,
and-
Sir X-Man, but thank you. I'll
and
just
it was a big improvement over the previous.
sit here
one,
on my
'cause it only
plebs
got to 30.
station. Ron Hale, shout out to you, brother. He says, have you guys heard anything about DLC or expansions for Halo? No. Nah, nothing concrete or official that wasn't already shit that probably should have been in the game, like co-op. But other than that, I don't know where they plan on taking it immediately anyway.
They have the
Other-
first year
Right.
planned out already, is what they said.
Well,
Like, the first
until we
one's
know the
co-op.
damn plan,
Well, they said the first one's co-op, the second one's the Forge, and then after that it's like something else. I forgot what it was. They said that they got the first year kind of mapped out already.
Okay. Well, you know what? We got to
Other-
map out to a different fucking topic.
Yeah,
Holy
we
shit.
do. But
Yep.
I got to say real quick, Others Inc. You could have that opinion that all PS4 games suck and that none were worth beating, but don't tell somebody else that. Like, it's not facts.
that's not true.
It's not. It's
A
not
couple of my
facts.
favorite games are on PlayStation 4.
Yes, a lot. Yeah, I have a lot of favorite games. on
Hey, you know
PlayStation.
what? Microsoft has a favorite upgrade for your Xbox, and that's the 2 terabyte
And what is
external expansion card.
Would that be a $400 expansion?
It would.
card?
It sure as fuck would. Yeah, how much?
Oh,
how much of y'all sold your house to get? No, I'm not going to really complain about this because look, the 1 terabyte is $230 still to this day, a year later, and
Who's wrong?
let's double it. It is, but at the same time, they are able to do it. It's the magic of the integration between this SSD and the APU of the box, the memory, the RAM of the box, right? I get that they've had to pay somebody to go out and make this shit. And I get that the price can be a little higher because it is bespoke. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about storage from Seagate, they're the same price, or actually a little cheaper, I think, than the PS5 one. Maybe around the same. It's guaranteed the fucking constant performance that you're promised on the package, unlike that one for the PS5. And it's as simple as plugging in a memory card on the PS2 to work. If you got $400, and you're not worried about it, I would say go get this shit, because it's nice to be able to plug your stuff in. And with games like Maneater, even needing Gen 9 storage. We know it doesn't really actually need that. You can play that game on a fucking 5400 RPM hard drive, no problem. It's just a requirement of Gen 9 games. Like I'm convinced that now, if you are not just Gen 9 aware, but if you are a Gen 9 title, it's actually required to be in the SSD, I think, by just like, you can't really change it. But I guess I could go back and look at Sea of Thieves, because that is one that's patched, but you don't need it on the SSD internal. So I don't know well, per se, but they also have a 500 gigabyte one as well. Well, you know, a cheaper option for people for around 140, I think it was, Alger.
Yep, 140, I believe. Yeah, and then they have the 1 terabyte one, of course, for the price that I was regularly at, and then this $400 one. I don't know. I think it's. I know that the price is steep as hell.
It is.
I don't really like this price, but being able to just install shit on the Series X is awesome. I didn't have an expansion card at the beginning, and now I do. I've had it for a while, but like now I don't have to like sit there and be like, oh, let me just
When did
uninstall
you
this
get
on my
that?
internal.
I didn't know you had one.
I got it a couple months ago.
Pretty nice, man. It is nice once you get that bitch.
It is nice. I don't have to sit there and do math. I'm like,
But you
let
can
me
always
see.
install everything on an external of any kind and transfer when you need it. But I'm telling you, it's nice to just have the storage natively. But $400 is no getting around it. Like, guys are, you know, they're definitely justified in thinking, hey, this is fucking a lot. But that's why they have a smaller option. And even at 150, some guys are going to think, hey, that's still way too much.
I gotta say, like I reluctantly, like you guys know, I had to buy the 1 terabyte because I was just running out of storage. I think the 500 gigabyte version, I think that's a pretty good option for someone that doesn't want to dole out all the money. You still have your internal storage. You got another 500 gigabytes, and then you can use a regular external storage just to transfer your files back and forth, the games that you're not playing. The 2 terabyte, man, I guess I just can't justify it. $400. Is just a steep price, and like even on PC, like, you know, to be fair, that might not be as expensive because it's not proprietary, but they're still pretty pricey. I can't do it, man. With Sony's Sony, I think has a better option for the SSDs. I'm gonna have to just give the double their due, because there's a variety of drives that you can use, and I've tested
I mean,
them all.
you can use them, but are they going to sustain?
They work. They sustain, man. They work. I've tested
all
so
of them?
many of them,
D-batch?
and most of even the ones that are shit that they say.
Which ones
shouldn't
explode,
work,
D-Batch? Tell me.
None of them. They're all working, because Sony kind of capped a little bit much on their capabilities of their hard drive when it turns out.
Aren't
that,
they getting by with much slower drives than what they recommend or something?
They are.
So they
are
just
getting
lied to
by with
everybody.
much slower. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're getting by with much slower drives. So just to end my point, I think, you know, grab a 500 gigabyte if you don't want to spend the extra cash, and just, you know, transfer your stuff to an external drive, or get the 1 terabyte. The 2 terabyte, I would definitely wait till that goes on sale. $400, you can go buy.
And Microsoft did say they are having other partners produce these drives as well.
Just wait till
need to
those
hurry
come
up on
out.
that.
It's just $400. It's just not a good option for just storage. It's just not.
I just wanted to ask you guys, like, you know, and there's, I don't mean anything by this, because I'm genuinely like, I want to know, how many games do you need to have on your consoles? Like, because I have like, I'll have like 8 to, you know, whatever games, around 8-ish games at one time. And I just, once I beat them, I just get rid of them.
And we
Like,
can't get you
I
to
don't
install a
need-
new game either, motherfucker. You're like, what? Where was he? Fuck that. You did install it
like,
eventually.
How many games do you like typically have on your consoles? You like to put all your games on?
I think it's a habit of last generation, because you could just slap a bunch of old hard drives up to your Xbox, 16 terabytes worth,
Yes.
and just go. Right, Bub?
It's the same here. I mean, I've got a 8 terabyte Seagate Game Hub, and it's almost completely full, but I can't play any of my Gen 9 games on it.
Did you
I
pour
have to
water on it?
transfer 'em. No, I did not pour water on it. But I can say that transferring games from that drive to my SSD to play them is faster than me downloading them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you have the space on a standard USB 3.0 hard drive, then why not have the game there? Because you can transfer it faster than you can download it.
And the
I
the
can see that for some
SSDs,
people.
the 3.1 SSDs are nice too. I got a couple T5s, a terabyte and a 2 terabyte T5 external SSD. Those load quick as fuck, way faster than any mechanical, and they transfer in a couple minutes for like 60, 70 gigs.
Yeah, it'll never be as fast.
also-
But if you have decent speeds, like internet speeds, it doesn't take that long for a game to be downloaded. So it's like
No.
even if you have to wait a half an hour, that's not that bad. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Well, it's
It
about playing with
doesn't.
other people. Like if you look
Yeah,
at like
it's a
fun, like
win.
I have like Back for Blood, I have Sea of Thieves still installed. I have all those other games installed. Like a lot of the multiplayer games, like even like Call of Duty, takes up a lot of space. So I keep those in there because I play with coworkers or
Gotcha.
friends or whatever. And then the single player games, like I keep them on there because I'm playing through them. But I'll uninstall them
That
when I'm
makes sense.
done. Yeah,
And your
like,
internet, your internet's never a sure thing either. You could be
No,
during
no.
peak hours or whatnot. You're always going to get the same transfer speeds with your
True.
hardware.
Chat, let us know what you think about the storage situation. Everyone knows how downloading shit works. They all do it every day, right? Anybody on next generation consoles is thinking the same damn thing. Where the fuck my storage go? And
'cause
we're all
all
right
people are
there.
saying
You're right.
data caps, also data caps.
Yeah.
They don't want to read.
Oh, that's true too. Because K-Bob is right when he's talking about it's not always the same speeds. Sometimes I'll download a game in 10 minutes. Sometimes it's freaking half an hour. Like it just depends on what time of day and all that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't agree with $400 for the SSD.
I don't think anybody
year
does,
ago-
really.
Well, a year ago we were actually basing the $220 for the 1 terabyte on the fact that that's how much M.2 in many cases it was cheaper than some of the M.2 Gen 4 1 terabyte SSDs are or were. But now you're asking your 2 terabytes and you're basically saying, okay, well, it's cheaper than twice the cost of a 1 terabyte. But prices have come down. You can get a M.2 Gen 4 SSD now for 2 terabytes for $300.
Yeah, but that's with the market world of competition. Like, there's no competition right now. And that's why I focused on, Microsoft did say other partners besides Seagate will produce this damn thing. We're just waiting on these fuckers.
Yeah.
And speaking of waiting on these fuckers, God of War finally coming to PC, as we've been saying for years, January 2022.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, Tim Dog, how many people got bitch smacked when this was announced that they're calling us crazy and acting like this was never going to happen for some reason? Tim Dog bitch smacked himself.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, the whole situation on the memory for even, I would say even both of the Sony and Xbox is pretty bad. But they definitely have to come up with some kind of competition where Xbox gets some other vendors putting this out. But just overall, I just find that one of the caveats with this generation, it's awesome. This generation, by the way, is that it's just that. Like, I mean, I'd rather buy another 1 terabyte and then just keep it and flop it. Like, put all my sports games on one of it, or
like the memory cards on PS2.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's so simple with hot swapping with the Xbox. But that is something that Sony, even though I don't agree with you having to open up the thing and installing it with a heatsink, and that it is something that Sony can hang their hat on, is they're at least getting a little competition with the pricing on it. But yeah, $400 for a memory card is just, I just rather.
So speaking of $400 though. Speaking of $400 though, Tim, do you think they're going to charge $400 for God of War on PC?
Wow, yeah, well, that's
$49.99
that we talked about. Did we even talk about that last show? I talked to you on the phone about that because
It happened right after the last show.
Yeah, because that was the news that really brought down the house, and you had many people saying this would never happen.
Yeah.
But you had people like
complete morons would say this never happened.
But you were saying it. Rand was saying it. This was inevitable. I was saying it too. Pretty much the whole panel was saying
the chat too.
Yeah. I did a video a year ago about it.
And we were, we were mocked and we were, made fun of, and it's a big old joke. But when it does happen, the funny thing is like I see some of these guys. Oh, it's smart by Sony to do this. Now they're taking the stance, and then they're taking the stance. So like, I like it that I have to pay twice for it. Because it's like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, listen. There's one thing that Xbox did well with this, and now the way it's going, you get cross-buy. You get everything on the Windows Store that you buy on Xbox. That's a big advantage. So the way people were coming around and all this stuff, so hypocritical. But at the end of the day, we all knew this would happen, and there's probably other things that we've said that are going to happen that are going to happen as well. I mean, this is big.
But to the people that are always wrong, like Crap and all these other people, like we're always, it blows my mind because these stupid motherfuckers don't even watch, for one, or they would just shut the fuck up. And secondly, how smart do you have to be to see something as common sense as this?
Yeah.
You don't have to be fucking smart. You don't have to even know, you don't even have to know how to color in the lines. Like, this is common sense.
The industry
Sony
is
in their own words, in their own internal documents, in their own documents to their investors, stated, that's how I did the video a year ago, that they're going to be bringing their top tier games to the PC. Now, I've said this so many times. If you see Microsoft getting a foothold with their games in the PC market, you think Sony's going to sit back and say, yeah, that's fine. They can have all those billions of potential customers. That's fine. We're okay over here. No, they want a piece of the pie, and it's strategic. What they're doing right now is slowly giving it to the PC crowd, getting them warmed up to their exclusives,
sticking their legs in the water like boiling crabs.
Yeah, and then eventually it's gonna go day and date on PC because they're gonna have to compete with Microsoft. Why do you think they got these Azure servers?
Of course they will,
they
eventually.
Just got this stuff for the fun of it. They got it to invest in the ecosystem. Like, come on, man.
One of the reasons why Microsoft is able to go day and date, though, is because you're basically talking about the same code and the same kernel using the same API.
Why do you think Sony bought their PC porting studio?
They're going to be doing the same thing.
You got me on that one.
Okay. Anyway, that's their goal, and I've said it for years, literally years. Whether it's 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, it will happen day and date. And that's what I've always said.
It's going to happen. It's always going to happen day and day, and that's why that's where they were headed. We talked about this in 2018. At least when we were on the podcast, I said it's going to come day and date on there, and people were like, I don't know. And we always
we were saying that when you were still in a tadpole soccer.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody was still saying it. And then the only if you notice though, what you were talking about APIs and all that, the only studio that they have not brought out their games to PC is Insomniac Games, and that's yet. Insomniac Games hasn't had their games come to PC.
And they just acquired them.
And they just acquired them. Exactly. So they're the newest studio that they're going to get acclimated with. All the other ones that have been there for years have obviously been porting a lot of their stuff. Like, just look at everything. Like, Days Gone, an amazing port. God of War, hopefully an amazing port. Horizon had trouble at first, but then it became
and that was their
really
first
good.
mainline title. I think they brought over too. So.
Yeah, and now there's leaks, right? We saw leaks from, a lot of people all over the place. Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima is next.
Ooh-wee.
And people are just sitting there like Uncharted's coming early next year. So is God of War.
And guess what? None of those games are any worse because they're on PC. They're still, most of them are great games, so people can fuck off. This is going to be great for people that want to play the game. And at the end of the day, if you've been holding on to this, it's on my box and only my box, and I'm locked down to one place because I'm an idiot and doesn't understand what flexibility is a good thing, and I need all that just to justify my purchase. Well, you're getting fucked extra hard. Anyway, next topic.
I wanted to say real quick. Also, too, if you think them dropping all of these, Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever, the first iterations of those games, when the sequels come out, like a year from now, do you think that those sequels are not going to come day and date?
Of course they are. Sony likes that money.
Will come day and date. It's you got to strike while it's hot, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if we. Okay, so you know how they're going to remake The Last of Us, the original game. I wouldn't be surprised if that hits PC day and date.
Hey, Gaming Forte in the chat, shout out to him and his boyfriend Dungeon Simulator. He says that the whole slate of games is coming to PC. And you know what, brother? Yes, definitely. Risky for the Biscuit, shout out to him. Maybe is this a different account? I think it might be. He says, mark my words, if this stupid thing will stop moving. He says they'll be bringing their games to PC day and date. Yes, sir. Shit. That's common sense, ultimately.
Well, I posted a thing about that saying like Sony opening up their platform makes me happy. Like I do want to see those things on PC. I don't want everything to just be on one thing. And that's what I enjoy. And I put that out there. And some people that were like kind of like, well, I like when it's just an exclusive because it makes me feel better. I actually talked to those.
Well, come over here. I'll give you a hug too.
No, hold on. I told them, I was like, hey man, the reason why I like Xbox is because I can go anywhere with it. I want to play on my console. Cool. Exactly. I can play on my PC. Wherever I want to go, I can play. And the guy kind of sat there and goes, that actually sounds pretty cool. And like, I think it's because he doesn't know that. He hasn't been a part of the Xbox ecosystem. Exactly. But then hearing it and then talking about it, it's kind of like, oh wow, it does sound kind of fun, right? Like I can play it where I want to play it. And so I had a good conversation.
I get that back in 2014, 15, Zucker, but yeah, it's been half a decade, bro. It's like time to move forward.
Well, exactly, and I think people just don't know that yet. I don't think they understand just how integrated Xbox is. Like, I don't think they get it.
It all feeds back into itself, man. And again, that's just like this chat. 1,400 plus watching right now, guys. Thank you very much for feeding back into yourself and giving us your feedback on everything that's happening. Because it's a great time to be a gamer. You've got Halo Infinite blowing people's minds out the back of their faces so bad that they're upset on Twitter and lying to themselves about the way the game looks, trying to hand out L's when they're sitting on an L-shaped chair. I don't want to fucking hear nothing about the game looking bad ever again when it comes to what it looked like in cross-gen. Those two things, you can't talk about it no more. It looks a lot better than it did last year. The campaign looked cool. The elite obsessed with killing Spartans is a very intriguing thing to me. I think it would be a badass side mission if that's the case. And at the end of the day, man, there's a lot of hype for it. There's a lot of hype for Horizon 5, which we'll have reviews on when that embargo hits. There's a lot of good stuff, man. So at the end of the day, if you're watching, we do appreciate you. Hit the like button if you haven't. Let's try to get closer to 1,000 for the end of the show. That's almost getting up closer to 1,500 people watching live, guys. We do appreciate it. Tell a buddy, all that good stuff. We have to move forward, though, Bonzarelli. Bonzarelli eating macaroons.
No,
yeah,
I don't.
You
I don't
are
eat during the podcast.
You're eating macaroons. I just wanted to do this. Macaroons.
No.
Hey, Xbox partnering with a third party for some kind of big exclusive, and this goes around kind of the table here. There's people, they're saying that Xbox employees are telling them that they're ecstatic, and according to these people, they're using words like delighted and ecstatic when it comes to this announcement of some kind of big third party Xbox is working with.
There's another word they're using.
Top quality.
Stop. Top quality. So what do you think this Xbox partnership is? And this is probably like the 400th one of these we've heard. I didn't even bother to look into them at this point. Because it's like until we see it, who cares?
Jez and Jeff actually responded to that. There was somebody that was saying that, and then they said they didn't hear anything about it.
So a couple people haven't heard it, and then we got some other people that have heard it. What do you think it could be?
Some people have heard two things. What I saw from like leaks and stuff was one, that they have a third party that they're working with that they're again excited about, and it's going to be a pretty big signing. The other one was I heard there was a Game Pass signing, like for early next year,
and that could be it, right? Third party,
and I think, yeah, exactly, third party. And the only game I can think of, the only game I can think of when they take with all those things they're saying is that Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Huh.
That's the only thing I can think
that
of.
Borderlands
in my head. That game looks sick.
Yeah, Borderlands. Bonds is like, Borderlands is trash.
I'm going to throw something to the wall here, but I think it could be something to do with Destiny. We've been hearing a lot of talks of Microsoft.
I agree with it. I agree with it.
That's what I
think.
And that could be something that would make everybody at Xbox ecstatic to be working with Bungie again.
You know,
and that would be huge for the Xbox brand.
I heard something a while ago that Undead Labs made something for Destiny. Like they made, I don't know if it was a skin or something, but I mean, I don't know if that shit's even gonna, I think we mentioned this a show or two ago, but I don't know if that shit's actually gonna happen or if it's like that Wu-Tang Clan game and it is gonna happen.
RPG, Wu-Tang.
This whole entire subject is because of a insider that mostly talks about Sony, but if you read, I think it's her profile, she's been right before. She was right about
Wu-Tang Clan?
No, she was right about like if you look September 6th, which was before Sony State of Decay, she has a Wolverine thing. I can get you the I think it's like Mini Me.
She watched the movie Logan and posted a picture of it?
Yeah, no, she's where the rumor comes from. but she has been right in the past with some insider stuff. So I thought exactly what Dee thought. I said, what could this be? I don't see Phil actually, doing what Sony does and getting year exclusives. I mean, he's done it in the past, but
Adding stuff to their service is the name of the game,
Yeah, I could see this as a Halo. I mean, a Destiny Bungie type collaboration. I think. Listen, they're very close. They're still close to this day. That Bungie to Xbox is always a possibility, in my opinion. So,
and Destiny 3 is a free to play game. Have fun with that.
Hey,
Destiny 2 and I think the new expansion, whatever it's called, is on Game Pass everywhere. Like
free to play.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. It's on the console. It's on PC. Like they've put Destiny everywhere on the Xbox market. Like just everywhere. You can play it anywhere. So I think they're very close.
Let me give a few shout outs to the people in the super chat here. It's been a minute. Crod, shout out to you. He says, just wanted to say the Guardians game with the LG. The Dolby Vision 120 hertz looks amazing. Looks fire. Shout out to you.
Fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, apparently Guardians is pretty good. We'll kind of go over that here in a bit. We've also got Drawn TJ. Shout out to you. $5 Super Chat says, great show, dealer. Then we've also got Scrub Nurse. Shout out to you, member, for 6 months with that white and red Xbox badge. He says, I think 343 did what they needed to do. He says, get the information out there, show off better visuals, and of course, get the hype up for the game for November. Great show, gang. Hit the like button. Shout out to you, brother. Yes, they definitely got the hype up. And they released a commercial today. Like I said earlier, using they used some of the original Slit Space Engine assets in the commercial, and then they showed off the new and improved Brute there at the end of the campaign. So
Harry?
Really?
Harry. Lord Starkiller says day and date for Sony first party games will. Yes, they will happen. Sony will have better, even better cash flow as a result. Shout out to you, brother. And then Sir X-Men, last one for now, says playing God of War on Stream Deck when it comes out. Shout out to you. Steam
Deck.
Steam Deck. Yeah, don't take that thing apart. Apparently it will explode and destroy your house, according to their own teardown video. God, they were really very strict with that.
The topic we were just talking about, you guys are way off. It has nothing to do with Destiny. I already figured this out. They're going to get Soulja Boy to make him a handheld console. It's going to be the Xbox Series. What the fuck are we doing? Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, well, Soulja Boy might be in jail. Costanza, shout out to you, $10 Super Chat, says, I don't know if it's on the agenda, but are we going to talk about NVIDIA Cloud Play or whatever it's called being playable on the Xbox soon? That is, what's that called again, D?
I think it is playable now. I think it is playable.
NVIDIA, what is that freaking streaming?
Shield.
NVIDIA.
It's GeForce.
GeForce now, yeah.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Good point, Costanza.
It's okay, their cloud streaming platform. It's pretty cool that you can do it on the Xbox. So, options are always a good thing. It's kind of an oxymoron a little bit, but options are always a good thing, man. So I'm not mad at it. It just shows you how open Microsoft is to working with people and just letting you enjoy your system at what it's capable of doing. So, kudos to them. Fix the damn DVR, please.
Fix that damn DVR, Xbox.
You know what? I'm already looking
it's trash.
I'm already looking into external DVRs to record my footage because I'm not happy with the DVR right now.
Well, you got to tweet about it some, piss them off a little bit, stay on them.
They have like a third party working on the DVR. It's going to get fixed.
Well, yeah, we heard that a year ago, though.
If anybody
they just recently announced it.
If anybody at Microsoft is listening, the console is RDNA 2. The PC counterpart can record 4K 60, no issues.
It's carryover, D. That's why it's back compat DVR. It's not working well.
Yeah, but the hardware can do it. So, if you have to scrap the old way of doing it, just get it done.
So, Tim, tell me more about that third party coming in to work on the DVR as somebody who absolutely loved this feature and loves to show people what Xbox games really look like at 4K 60 since 2017. What did they say about this today?
I read it like a month ago. They have, I'd have to fetch the article. they hired a company to work on.
I know they bought Clipchamp or whatever, right?
Right,
I mean,
but they
yeah, that was it.
they also hired somebody, I believe, to work on the game.
then you're
DVR.
just not bringing this up after hearing me rant about this shit on the show for a month.
No, I mean it was but because it's like maybe it was speculatory. I remember reading the article. Maybe it was Jazz's article. I forgot the name of the company, but yeah, I definitely think that they have that addressed. I just don't think that the core team, they're. I mean, there's a lot of questions about backwards compatibility right now. They haven't seen anything. They're probably doing something, and the DVR, which was definitely on the docket list. I remember
That was the last thing they said, and then it just never popped up again for a year.
But I think that the third party in that out, so you'll see some type of update with these recent. I have to look for it and fetch it, but I definitely remember reading something about that.
Well, let me give a shout out to Hargate real quick. He says we must remember in Ponyvision, all Xbox games lose 50% resolution and perform worse than on Atari. Only PlayStation games look good in Ponyvision. Also, not even PC games can compete. Not even the PC versions of their own games. It looks like shit. But I mean, hey, at the end of the day, big shout out to some of these guys in Super Shout come back. But we got to move forward here and see what's worth going over here with the time that we have. But that's the big partner lockdown rumor. Age of Empires 4 right now. We'll spend a little tiny bit of time on this because it is first party. It'll eventually come to console. At least that's apparently the plan. But it is at 83 or something like that right now. Metacritic, Zalka, right?
Yep, 83 Metacritic.
83. So complete trash because it's Xbox, right?
No, I mean it's I mean the game obviously is reviewing pretty
reviewing well.
Yeah, it is reviewing well, and there's a lot of depth to it. They did a really good job. They didn't take any shortcuts. As somebody that plays a fuck ton of strategy games, they took a lot of the good things from multiple strategy games and put them together. They didn't take any shortcuts on anything, and I like it, man. You can actually micromanage your units. There's a lot going on with it. I didn't get to play multiplayer obviously because there was nobody to play with because I was having a review copy.
Okay.
So,
and I didn't play it because I'm waiting for the Xbox version to come out. They sent me a code. I'm like, nah, Xbox. Well, I really want them to hurry that up because I don't want to be waiting a year for Age 4 on Xbox. But maybe it'll be longer than that, Zalker.
It might be because there was no controller. Like there was no
trash.
We can play tower defense.
It can work. It can work just fine on a controller. I played a ton of RTSs and controller. So figure it out, Xbox. But anyways.
Now, Zalker, on Age of Empires 4, can't you play multiplayer with a number of people against a number of other people?
I don't know. I didn't get to play against people.
You can't do that.
You really
I think I read where you can have like two different civilizations going up against two other different civilizations.
You can do 8 to 12 person scrimmage and versus AI versus people versus all RTSs do that for the longest time.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got a review coming out for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, so check out Zalker's review on it tomorrow. What'd you give it, Zalker? Spoil the whole thing.
I didn't give it a score.
You didn't give it a
Zalker,
score.
Why don't you do a guest
No, because
review
everybody
on my
with
channel?
scores is just like.
Yeah. I mean, everyone can give shit scores. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Why didn't you give it a score?
I gave it I said that it's not going to be groundbreaking that anybody knew,
Don't actually ruin your review here, fuckface. Watch Zalker's review tomorrow on his channel.
You didn't go to the board and put a big number on it?
Nope. What about the Trebuchet video? Wasn't it amazing?
He gave Gamescom a 5
out
out of 10.
On the real though, those trebuchets, man, in the game are fucking awesome.
Hey, what about Guardians of the Galaxy? This is a surprise hit from people. Linear story games have never needed to go away. Anybody saying anything other than they have a definite place in gaming forever is a fraud. And Guardians of the Galaxy is a linear game. They've learned from Avengers. There's no online trash, no more microtransactions. You can just experience this and have fun with it. So you played some of that, Zalker. And also, what are some of the reviewers saying about Guardians for those interested?
The funny thing is like a lot of people like Skill Up or whoever, they were like at the beginning of their video, they're like, take a deep breath. The game doesn't suck. Like just process that, right? Like they're just like, just take it.
Because I was one that was like, this game, Square Enix, I don't trust them,
bro.
Dude, it's good. Like I'm thoroughly surprised of how good it is. The writing by itself, just like I'm actually laughing. Like it's on par with like the movie's comedy. Like if not even funnier. Like I just couldn't like I was like, wow, this is really done like let's just put it this way. There's literally in the first like 40 minutes, there's a fucking like space llama. And you're like, what the fuck? Like you're just like you're just laughing. Like it's just stupid. But
So it doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it doesn't. But then at the same time, there's still very deep moments where you're actually building a team. And then there's funny. And then like there's epic ass shit. The colors are insane. The combat's fun. It runs really well. And it's just a fun game. Like you just have a lot of fun going through it. And I put a lot of hours into it last night. And then I put like some into it today, and I just have to say that, man, it's a contender for Game of the Year for me already, and I'm 5 hours in. Like I absolutely.
Well, you
love
do
it.
like Sea of Thieves, so I'll say that. But no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I was with you, dealer. Originally, I seen this game, and I was just like, no, that looks bad, and especially when you have the stink of the Avengers on you.
But the difference was, I kept that to myself, Fonz.
You're thinking about that game and you're like, this isn't gonna work. Yeah. And just looking at the characters and but today Colt sent me about 152 screenshots. He's been playing the game today, and man, he's just enjoying it. He just keeps telling me how great it is. He's all, Fonz, you gotta pick it up, you gotta do it. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, Square Enix actually sent me a damn code for it. I didn't know the email because I had never gotten a code from Square before, but I am going to be showing it probably in the next week or two on the podcast as part of coverage. But still, I mean, when I heard good things about it, I was more and more happy that the email was there. And that's for Series X. So I'll be showing you that at 60 frames per second. The engine is overly demanding. I don't know why, D-Batch. Like, what the fuck is going on with this damn engine?
Amazing.
The graphics are good, but there's games that look as good that run twice as good.
Hey, you know what, man?
They're good.
Man, I hate to do this, but
the game don't look that damn good where 3090 without DLSS is running at 50 frames per second.
Yeah, but I got DLSS, so I have a 3090. I put DLSS on. I put everything to a freaking 1,000, ray tracing at the highest. Like
y'all are cheating with those 3090s, D-Batch.
It's running 60. First of all, it's stable at 60 FPS. I get over 60 FPS. I'm getting like 78, close to like 80, 82, 83.
Wait, on DLS with DLSS?
Yeah, it's
dude. I'm getting with the same thing. I'm getting like 110, 120, bro.
He's probably got like different settings, or you probably got some turned off you don't know about.
I turned everything up to the ultra today.
He said 1,000 though. Do you have 1,000? Do you have that option? Because
I hate you so much.
There's probably one setting that I have in there. Doesn't matter. I'm still getting high frame rates, man. And just to let you know, Zocker, I have a 3090 Strix, which is better than your card. Just to let you know.
Well, they get better frames, bitch.
Anyway, you're both nerds.
No, but honestly, the game looks fantastic, man. I was blown away, man. I gotta like do it in HDR, and I have to throw a video up on YouTube because this game you just have to see it, and it's
that's great for PC. But I'm telling you right now, the screenshots that Colt has sent me look unbelievable on the Series X, and he literally told me it's the best looking game he's seen on the Series X so far.
Really?
You know what it is? It's the texture work. The textures are, because I've seen the Series X version as well. The textures are just fantastic in the game. The only thing you really gain on PC is like the ray tracing. Let's just be honest. Like overall, the game looks pretty similar, but the textures are just fantastic. The what do you say? The voice sync is like the lip sync is like perfect, man. Like
isn't it nice to be getting AAA games again since the pandy started?
The other thing why it looks great is because you're not just fighting like human people. Like you're fighting creatures and like an abundance of them, like crazy looking shit that you've never seen. And you're like, what the hell is that? And then you're fighting like 6, 7 of them.
It's from No Man's Sky.
Dude, it's like insane. Like, cause you're in space, right? You're just looking at all this cool stuff you've never seen. Everything looks exotic. It's colorful. The game is just gorgeous.
I bet it looks insane on OLED.
Oh, dude,
yeah. That's what Colt was saying on the OLED. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Square Enix have had really good HDR and a lot like the Avengers, even really, really good HDR. So
apparently, this is what we wanted from the Avengers dealer.
Just a single player experience.
Single player experience. Yeah.
Well, this is what I told people that the example I could give is that like it kind of reminds me of Jedi Fallen Order, where people were really down on Star Wars games after Battlefront 2, and then Jedi Fallen Order came out and killed everything. Like it was amazing. And it was a single player only game. And that's what happened. Like, the freaking Avengers, I like the single player, but the whole like games as a service and the multiplayer aspect was trash. I was like, this has no depth to it. I'm done. So I moved on. I
you,
like the
Zucker.
single player game.
Was the
I
flying
liked how it
better
was
than
fun.
Anthem?
You mean hope you won, everybody? No, but like after that, it was like that's what Guardians was just this very single player driven, and it's just the gameplay is tight. It's great. It's different. The gameplay is different, no matter what anybody says. You actually have to use your the Guardians' abilities to do damage. Like it's fun. Like I don't know, man. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best games I've played this year.
Mm.
I'm gonna play the hell out of it.
I just have to say,
How long is
fuck
the
you,
game on average? Are
Zucker.
people saying?
I have to say,
20 hours.
Fuck you. I have to say, fuck you to Zucker, fuck you to Colt, because I'm going to buy this now because of you two.
Oh,
Thanks.
shit.
And when you don't like it, I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
People are like,
Dude, there's aspects of Avengers that I really like, but then it gets to the point where you're in this like freaking
open world trash.
Yeah, you got to go into these strikes or whatever. No, thank you.
Oh, and your decisions actually matter. It affects what you experience in the game. So like apparently, like, 'cause I thought like it was a very linear game. I was like, well, does this decision really matter if I do a different one? So I looked it up, and it actually does. Like you get different scenarios and different, like some of them will be like a big
Instead
action
of
scene, the
sneaky,
other one
be
wouldn't.
fighting, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, so there is replayability, but overall, like finding all the outfits are all in the game. You just go find them. Like you don't buy them. You just go find them in the game if you explore, and then the game makes fun of you when you explore. Like you'll be like,
You stupid bitch, you must be bored.
No, yeah, they're like Star-Lord, are you lost? What are you doing? And he's like, I'm just going over here. You got lost and you don't want to admit it, huh? Yep, he's an idiot. Like that's like it's just funny shit like that. Like,
Got a lot of character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome because I plan on booting this up soon, and I look forward to the 5,000 gig download. Because I don't have a 4 terabyte SSD.
And what is it, 60 or 70?
This is 60?
60. It's a $60 game.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a code all
now
of
too.
Hey, let me give a few shout outs here in the super chat here. Kendrick, he wants to know, do you think Halo looks the way it does to appeal old school fans? He did say they went with the older aesthetic. And we talked about this aesthetic before because, they wanted to go back and do the classic kind of vibes on it. Don Otaku says they've had the 1 terabyte expansion card on sale for as low as $176 he's seen. If you wait for a sale, you can get the best deal. Yes, sir. Thank you for the heads up, for the chat. Those guys will definitely appreciate it. The Space Nova King, shout out to you every single Tuesdays here. We got Cialis.
God damn.
CFX Press solution is really handy, but expensive. What the heck is that? I'm not sure, sir. Thank you, though. And then
you're trying to say Cialis was handy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear the same thing. Lord Starkiller, shout out to him, member for 13 months with that silver platinum badge. He says, God of War for PC makes great financial sense for Sony. Yes, it definitely does. Shout out to you, brother. And then we got DJ $5 super chat says Western Digital Black 2 terabyte with heatsink for PS5 is $500. And Western Digital Black is a really, really high quality brand too. So
it is.
I do like I rock WD Black in my PC, at least for the mechanical, even because I do have mass storage there. So, and then let me give a few more of these. We got Zero Myth. He says people shouldn't praise Sony for doing something that Xbox has done years later. Yeah, I said that at the end of my last video. Look, Corey Barlog and them have made one of the best games of all time. I might even go buy there, or maybe I'll just advocate for them to do cross-buy like Microsoft have been doing for years. Yeah, either way, it's a step in the right direction. If anything, just to kill their most radical, stupid fans that don't know anything about what they're doing.
It reminds me of Android versus Apple. Android will have something for years and years, and nobody will say a damn thing about it, or they'll just naysay it. And then Apple will do it, and they're saying, "Oh,
they
innovation!"
invented it. Yeah,
innovation.
That's because y'all didn't do it right. You're just like PlayStation now.
I'll give Sony a way out of this. What they could do when they bring their games to PC is have your account connect, and PS4, PS5 owners, with their account connected to the PC, they can upgrade to the PC version for $20.
But what ecosystem though? That's the thing. And Sony will eventually have their own fucking PlayStation store probably on the PC.
Yeah, I don't know what they have
I
working
don't
with
think
Epic.
I don't think
did
they
something with
will.
Epic.
I think they
I-
will
I-
eventually.
Epic.
Yes, I think because they
I
want
think-
100%
first
of the
I thought
profits.
They would. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they would aim for it, but like I said it in 2018 that I think they're gonna have their own storefront. But at this point, like if you look how hard even Xbox's storefront, they're still working on it.
Yeah.
And they have far more money than Sony does.
But look, they're years behind on everything.
Steam is still working on it. Like Bethesda tried to make their own store, and that failed. Like the storefront, like on PC, is a lot.
But that failed for
harder.
different reasons. That failed for more social reasons.
I think the de facto storefront on PC is Steam, and
I mean, of course,
I would have to say, and I'd have to say Epic. Epic has done a great job, man. Where people are going there now and they're buying games from them.
And Sony got the money to throw around, like Epic do, to at least for something like that.
But Sony has
out.
money invested in Epic, right? So
you're right.
That's like a no brainer.
So maybe they just keep investing and they just throw everything on Epic, and that is their store.
Yeah.
But they also but the funny thing is that they get a lot more sales on Steam. Like Horizon sold like crazy on Steam. Days Gone sold like crazy on Steam.
Sales
like
compared to where though?
Compared to like Epic
Anywhere.
Games, like with Kina Bridge of Spirits or whatever.
Well, I
else.
figured it's
Well,
not
I mean,
exclusive.
they're putting their games on Steam because that's where most people are.
Yeah.
That's where most.
I'm
PC
saying
gamers
eventually
are.
though, they want that 12 to 30% profit that these other guys are getting, right?
I just don't think they have. I think they would need a lot more games because like they're like other third parties are not going to go exclusive.
Don't insult Sony like that, Zucker. It's toxic.
That's where Epic Store comes in, where they could have their own little niche section.
I think Sony are eventually going to have their own launcher, and they're going to say, "Hey, y'all, get Bugsnax."
Oh, trust me. I mean, I think they'll have their own launcher, but I just think it's going to be a long way off. I think we're going to get day and date before we even get the launcher.
Well, make up your damn mind on this launcher thing.
I mean, I talked about it in 2018.
And then you just changed it.
No, I said it's going to take longer. I said it's just going to take longer than I thought. I thought they were working on it back then.
That's why you just say eventually.
When you look at the trouble that everybody's having with launchers, it's just like,
Yeah.
Nah, I think this is going to happen within the next 3 years. I don't think it's going to.
Well, we will see. That's the most, obviously the most boring news of the show. But at the end of the day, like it's a very key part of their strategy going forward, right, D? So, I mean, some people might not be interested in it, but it's something that you're going to hear a lot of in the future.
Yeah.
Dark CMF, by the way, says, I'm alive. I'll take the hug. Thank you for showing up, Dark. I know you've been under the weather, man. Hopefully you're doing good, brother. And then we've also got Tyler in the super chat. He says, no, everyone is hyped for Halo, and so am I, but why does no one cover Grim Dawn coming to Xbox and PlayStation? What is Grim Dawn? I never heard of it.
I have no idea.
Fandango?
Yeah,
We got to
I've
do the
heard of it.
financials.
Yeah. Okay, Tim. Go ahead and go to these Xbox financials and how these numbers are doing pretty damn good, even though some people can't read.
Well, honestly, not many people. The same stupid people are trying to say that it's not doing well.
The minority,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Really, the skeleton crew.
The guys that get killed by their own like ratios on their
Yeah.
YouTube channel. Yeah.
yeah.
Fonz, don't interrupt me, sir, as I interrupt him.
Basically, and I have confirmed that they are very happy with this quarter. The Xbox was up 166% on hardware.
Nice.
Content revenue plus 16% from the last part of last year, and this is what people were trying to say. Game Pass is dying, or it's losing subs. Content and services was plus 2%. Okay, now the thing that people are forgetting here is that a year ago, Game Pass quarter had a humongous quarter content and service. Why? Because of the pandemic. Remember, we all were talking about how Sony and Xbox are doing unreal numbers. They're seeing, how many more people on their network playing their games. The pandemic really jettisoned gaming on all platforms. So basically, you're 2% over that, and you sustain that, which is still huge. And now you're going into the last quarter, you're going to blow the doors off,
You have to really put emphasis on sustaining that, though, because nobody else has sustained, like even on YouTube, right? No one sustained, peak pandemic fucking traffic on YouTube Though this show has come really fucking close, actually. No one has really sustained it. And Game Pass has not only done that, but exceeded it, right?
Right. Well, it was 2% over. So people would try to say, that, it was bad. But even Xbox said Xbox Game Pass and first party shows growth. They said some of the declines were from third party titles, which makes sense. Listen, I do think that third party, overall, you're probably going to have Sony sell more on there because with Game Pass, a lot of people sometimes, even myself, I find myself saying, should I buy Guardians right now? Or is that game possibly coming to Game Pass? So you do have a little bit of that. And I think that they talked about it. But I don't think Microsoft really cares if they, get to 30 million subscribers by the end of January or by the end of December. But here's the thing. They have this shit ton of momentum right now. You have Scared Crap Gamer and Scared everyone going out of their minds.
Always scared.
Scared like a little girl. And,
but don't care about none of this. It's just, don't take it seriously. But always, every day.
I got to congratulate him.
That same energy.
He hit 20 times 67,000. So congratulations. You are the consistency of YouTube. But anyway, all jokes aside, this quarter, Xbox haters are going to get their asses kicked.
Mm-hmm. This generation.
Coming. Yeah, well, I tell you right now, for the next 2 months, just look at this. It was funny that Zorka said that because I did notice that Sony did try to do their old trick where they say, oh, they show something and all the hype's taken. Halo just looked at that and said, ha ha, stomped on it, and nobody else thought about it. And everyone's still talking about Halo. It's still trending, number 5 on YouTube.
That's right.
When this game comes out on Game Pass, people are going to flock to Game Pass. I think that that's going to be the easiest thing. It's right by Christmas. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
As far as the financials, superb.
The big thing too, Tim, is that this is all.
We need one of those for Fonz every time he interrupts somebody with the damn soundbar. We have 2 of them going off.
I feel like he just sleeps on it. I feel like he just falls asleep on it. But anyways, with the Game Pass thing, the way you were saying is that they haven't had a massive we were talking about Forza or Halo yet, and they're still growing or sustaining, as you said.
Right.
And that's the big thing. And the biggest marketing push I've seen Xbox do is, funny enough, is for Back 4 Blood. I've seen Back 4 Blood everywhere, marketing wise, for Game Pass. I don't know about you guys, but dude, I'm just saying, man. That game's obviously massive, and people just they just keep advertising it. And I know a lot of people that are playing that game. I beat it already, but I still know people that are playing it or going for times or going for this. And I'm like, man, people really enjoy it. And I'm just once that Forza drops, that Halo drops, that's when we're going to start seeing where the growth is. If it's if they've reached a peak or if they're can push farther. That's what I think. I think they're going to be their testing hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, in the future, in the past, they have been in this position. One of the positions they were in one year, and I remember it specifically because our friend I talked to on Twitter, Alejandro, he was hyping marketing deals instead of games, and that was 2015, I believe. Where
that's
Xbox
because we needed games back then, so you crush people like that.
Right, but they had a chance, Xbox, to really I felt take back some of last gen, and that's when they had Tomb Raider, they had Gears, they had a ton of games, Recore, and it didn't move the needle. This time though, and even with Halo, I didn't feel Halo is absolutely the fire of the gamer's eye right now, and the last time I remember it, and I've been through the whole Halo, been through Halo from start to finish. This reminds me right now of Halo 3, the way the hype is going up. And if they could even do close to what Halo 3 did, you're talking about big things. I really feel Halo, in a way, it when 2015 came out, people were saying Halo Forza. It's fresh right now, and I think what they've done with the gameplay and the grapple hook and everything about it. They're hitting on all cylinders, and it's just a crazy story because of the development of the game, how it went through 3 creative directors and then it had all the problems that it did. But I really feel like they can really make a dent this holiday.
Isn't it interesting that, games take time to develop? Isn't that interesting? Like, I mean,
it's weird, huh?
We're coming into a time where we're going to see more and more Xbox games being made.
Yeah.
And there you go, Talker.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
There
the
you go.
thing. We're going to see more and more Xbox games, coming out in the next 3 years. You're going to get inundated with so many games going to Game Pass. Honestly, it's a big time. Like, does everybody forget about how the PS4 went through a dry spell for a couple of years? They had so many delays, and then all of a sudden we were inundated with some games on the PlayStation 4. They seem to have these back-to-back games coming out year after year, but it's because they were pushed back. And that's what happens. Development cycles go through hell sometimes.
But there's a pandemic this time around.
And this is even worse. And that's what I'm talking about.
But Xbox has still got stuff coming out despite that, right? Halo within the almost the first year, Horizon 5, then starting next year, holy fuck, that's when the fun really starts.
It's just really funny
it just
to
gets
me
worse.
that some people just don't realize that development cycles are real. The pandemic is real. There's so much that has, pushed back development, even with Sony and PlayStation. Look, God of War was pushed back. Horizon,
Gran Turismo was pushed
Forbidden
back.
West.
Yeah.
All these games. It's just, it is what it is, people. We got to wait for games.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Hey,
I don't think so.
I think all things considered, I think we're having a pretty good holiday season for games all around, to be honest.
Yeah, so do I. I think
hell
this
yeah.
holiday season's
This
pretty good.
year has
Yeah,
been
Keen at
fantastic
Bridge of
for
Bridges.
Seriously, for a first year for both of these consoles, there's been some fantastic games released already.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining at all.
Yeah, and third party are finally able to step up too after revamping and adjusting to everything.
yes.
Far Cry 6, this footage should prove it. Like me and Obi-Wan, we go AC-130 style on some of these bases with this fucking firework. The most OP gun in the game is this damn firework gun. Okay, Fonz, have you used this?
I love that
yeah, I love that firework gun. It's my favorite go-to RPG because
It
it's the
really
most
is.
OP.
It's
It
a
really
bunch of
is.
RPGs. You're like, fuck it.
That vehicle you're driving in right there is one of my favorites too.
It's
love
the
that
coolest vehicle in the game. It's a little buggy.
Yeah. But, somebody brought up Starfield next year. Yeah, Starfield next year.
Huge.
I mean, a year from now. I don't give a shit about these damn people saying you can't be excited for fucking Starfield because you don't know much. F you. Bethesda is, they have proven themselves
Death
to
Stranding
have
kills
great
them with their own argument.
single-player RPGs. I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, we don't know enough about it, from the same people that'll say,
we're hyping up Throw Babies, the game. They hyped up Death Stranding.
But these are the same people that say, if Insomniac announces a game tomorrow and they call it Cracker Jack, it doesn't matter what it is, they're going to be hyped. It's these same people tell you can't be hyped by a company.
But that's why nobody
that is
listens to them,
shown.
Fonz, because they literally kill themselves every time they do a show.
It's just ridiculous to me. Look, I love Bethesda games. I can be excited for a Bethesda game. I don't give a shit who you are or what you say. I'm excited for Starfield. This has already been said by Todd Howard to be their biggest RPG, and it's going to be like freaking Skyrim in space. Who doesn't want that?
I mean, and who can tell you what to be excited for? These motherfuckers is hyping up Throat Babies, Death Stranding, for they knew what it was about, and we weren't saying you couldn't hype it up. We didn't know what the fuck it was. We didn't say you're not allowed to hype it up, so whoever's telling you can't hype shit up.
I'm telling you, I will say this. Next year, I guarantee you, I will say this. That game will probably be a Game of the Year contender. Watch
Of course
out.
it will. It'll be in all the nominee lists, most likely. So,
Yep.
Anyway, hey, you know what else we do know most likely is that this show's got to end. It's got to happen eventually, guys.
You got to do the Splinter Cell. I don't know if you did that.
I didn't want to cover that because the show's already running long, but Splinter Cell might be a thing. Of course, we talked about it years ago that we heard somebody was playing the shit in multiplayer a long time ago. We know it's real. We just know it got pushed back and held for a while, and apparently they're moving forward maybe. Who gives a fuck? We just know that it's too popular to go anywhere. It's common sense, and everyone already knew this. Let us know your thoughts, though, chat. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Shout out to Splendiferous, new channel member with that green Xbox badge. We've also got new nuisance. Shout out to you, brother. Says RDX is on fire tonight. Thank you very much, sir, for tuning in. All of you, every single one of you. Say it every week. We love you. You make us what we are. And of course, thanks for kind of gravitating to us and letting us talk about video games for 2 hours while you guys sit there and laugh, hopefully, or think we're cornballs, whatever it is. Thanks for listening to us. And we're going to do some outros. We had some really good topics. And we clearly destroy the Halo haters easily without even trying. And we talked about a ton of different stuff. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Of course, shout out to all the channel members. Big shout out to George Foreman. Big, fan of your grill. Actually, it crushes everything we put in it. I don't use it anymore. Others Inc. Shout out to you, brother. Nix, R&D. We've also got Kanta. We've got Tryhard Fans. Shout out to you, brother. Mako Chief, Jedi Knight Peter. Only on Xbox. Shoguns. As well as Mega Bad
What are you
Seed.
doing?
Fonz forgot to mute his
This
mic.
is
His
about
cat's eating.
delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
All right, give me the mic back, Phil. Damn it, Phil.
I
Did it
told you.
again.
I told Phil not to stay over there. All right. After the last time,
You just rushed into my closet and pushed me out of the way just to say
This is
that.
my turn,
What the
bitch.
hell? Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Phil and shout out to all the Xbox. I know Aaron Greenberg was in the chat like a month ago, and he said he wanted to come on the show again and stuff. We'll be reaching out and hopefully have some fun stuff to talk about. But shout out to Philly Eagle, Ashtray. I just want to give everyone in the chat a shout out, seriously. But we can't.
Yeah, they're
There's just so many. The chat's on fire. Thank you guys for what you're doing. Jezzy Up, all the patrons. You guys are fucking amazing. Let's do some outros. And if you haven't, guys, hit the like button. Let's try to get it closer to 1,000 for the end. And, of course, let us know your thoughts. D-Batch, brother, what have you been playing? Where can people find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter.
Twitter.
At D_batch. Of course, you can find me on YouTube at D-Batch. Look up for some content this week. I'm playing Guardians of the
Street
Galaxy.
Sharks.
I gotta say, man, that game is fantastic. I don't know if after the show I'll start to stream it on YouTube, but tomorrow, the day after, I'm gonna have some content up of it running, maxed out on PC with ray tracing. It's a glorious game. If you're on the fence on the game, get the game. It's a good game. I just want to give some people also an update on some of the stocks. Some PS5s are going to drop later this week. Series X is also going to drop.
Where
later
at, though,
this
D?
week. Most
Just
of the
anywhere?
retailers. Yeah, I think like the Targets, and
Amazon,
the
Target.
Amazons and whatnot. They're going to drop some this week. I just don't know when. I know that the Microsoft Store is gearing up to drop another drop of the Halo Series X, so I'm hoping to get one of those. And I'm also hearing that launch day for those of us that aren't lucky enough to secure a Halo edition, that some stores will have additional units. So on launch day, like November 15th, you will have a final opportunity one of the final opportunities to grab that console. So follow me on Twitter, D_batch. Was a great show, man. It's gaming season. We got lots of stuff to play. It was a great show, and I'll see everybody next week.
Hell yeah. They always do hold stock of new systems. I know they did that with the Series X as well for the launch day for the retailers, right? So definitely check out D-Batch's channel. Great content. Somebody said in the comments while we're streaming, new sub to D-Batch. Good content, and agree. D-Batch is awesome. We've also got Fonzarelli. Shout out to you, brother. What have you been playing, and where can people find you?
Well, it's Far Cry 6 right now. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy soon, because apparently that game's just amazing. And they can find me at Fonzarelli Gaming here on YouTube. I had a brain fart thinking about Twitter. Almost said Jay Fonzarelli. You can find me there too, Jay Fonzarelli on Twitter. But Fonzarelli Gaming here. You could even type in Fonz Gaming. Find me, FONZ. And I made a video yesterday. Finally, I had some time. I made a video about Halo. No, I didn't completely shit on Halo. I was very fair about Halo. Said I liked what I saw, and am excited for the game. So check that out. I also have my podcast every Sunday, and this past Sunday I did one with Patrick Gallagher, who was Khotun Khan in the game Ghost of Tsushima, and it was an awesome show.
The main bad guy in Ghost, right?
Yeah, the main villain, and he was amazing. He gave us a lot of insight on the gaming industry, like behind the scenes for voice actors. And man, he went in depth and was talking about how like they weren't getting paid enough and like a lot of stuff. Like he was transparent. He's all, I might get in trouble for this, but I don't care. It was really eye-opening, really cool. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's it. You can find me at Fonzarelli Gaming, or you can find my podcast there and my videos. And Far Cry 6, man.
Ooh,
I'm still, dude, this game is so good.
We need to
So
partner up
good.
in this shit, bro. I got most everything done in this bitch already, though.
Yeah, I need to.
The whole map's like uncovered. I think I need one more F&D base before I get that 75-point achievement.
Yeah, and if you do go to my channel and watch any of my videos, I do a lot. I like to joke a lot. That's just me. Like even on this show, I joke a lot all the time. So if you see the jokes there and I'm talking about either Xbox or PlayStation, it's all jokes. I'm not a fanboy. I don't care about that shit.
Yeah. It makes it more fun, right? Relax, have some fun.
It does, man. I just literally turn on the camera and start talking. I don't script anything. Unscripted
reviews, like everyone's scripted shit. Nobody's scripted shit.
I don't say that, but I just talk, and you get me. You get who I am, and that's
the Fonzinator.
I like
Fonzinator.
The Fonz.
Let's give a big shout out to KY Bob for joining us. He didn't get to say a whole lot like I would like, but there's so much shit in discussion that we had to get out as we are funnels for so many people's opinions and questions and messages that we can't get to, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a lot of opinions from us tonight, and KY Bob had some really good gems there. Thanks for coming on, brother, and tell people where they can find you, man, and what have you been playing, and kind of any final thoughts quickly about everything that's happened here.
Yeah, this is KY Bob. I've been playing Far Cry 6. I can't get enough of it. When I start playing it, I wind up staying up late, so I can't do it on work nights.
It's fun.
I really appreciate you having me on. I mean, I listen every Tuesday, and being in the chat does not compare to being on the show. This was amazing, and thank you for that. And you can find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, KY Bob. You can find me every other Saturday as a panelist on the XBL Party Podcast. 3 p.m. Eastern. It's a UK based show, and I have an announcement to make. Starting this Thursday, in 2 days, I will be hosting the USA stream of the XBL Party Podcast called XBL Party USA, because most of our replays are actually from people in the States. So
where's it at? Is it on your channel?
No, it is on the XBL Party Podcast channel, where we
new channel.
We do It's not a new channel. We're on. We're up there in episodes, but we do mostly reviews of indie games, and we have a couple shows with our podcast on Saturdays, and now we're gonna have a USA stream starting this Thursday at 9 Eastern.
Well, tell everybody there, KY Bob, that we say hi. And thanks for coming on, brother. You've been a friend of mine for years, and people in the chat been hearing your name every single week for quite a while, man. So you've been a massive supporter of the show, of this channel, and thanks for what you do, brother. And it was good having you on.
It was
I
great.
miss you in the
being here,
chat,
sir.
bro. In the party chats.
Yeah, I've got a new work schedule right now. I'm on a 2-2-3 schedule, so I'm off 2 days, work 2 days, off 3.
Sounds like it.
It's all backwards on me.
It sounds like he's on one of those days.
Still taking me time to get used to it.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for your opinions, man. You had some good takes. And again, follow KY Bob at KY Bob on Twitter. You can find him in my last Twitter post. If you don't want to search it in, just go to my feed, look at the RDX live tweet there, and you can find him there. We've also got Tim Dog, xCloud Tim Dog. Brother, what have you been playing? Where can people find you, man?
Playing Far Cry 6. You got me into it. I have to say, really impressed with the visuals. Yeah, there's some types of sometimes you get tearing, or at least I have gotten tearing. But overall, really fun, beautiful looking game. And I like the way they kind of direct you. Driving like the tank is really fun. You could do it one finger. It feels like you just it's kind of weird, the controls, but once you get used to it, or at least I got used to it, I really started to really enjoy it. Whether it was like riding the horse, or I'm about 3 hours in. A lot for me to still take in. The guns, like you said, the firecracker gun, and some of the other stuff. It's just great to use. You know what I mean? And you go around certain missions, differently. You could either take it by force, which I usually do, or you could,
Just let it happen.
But yeah, I've been playing that and really impressed with it. You guys were right. I'm glad I bought it. And
Did you get the HD texture pack?
It's not automatically installed?
Apparently not. It's a
Nope.
20-something gig download.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
you have
I
to
did.
go to
I
the-
got it. I got it.
You know,
I got
one
it.
question that you're playing this Far Cry 6. If you use VRR like I do, you don't see any of these screen tears.
No.
But I want to
you
know
do
if
it.
they're there, though, so I can,
And
like,
I know you, but you use a DVR.
I'm playing on in the E7. I don't know.
Oh,
if
gotcha. Yeah, because I don't see these at all. It's
Yeah, it would
beautiful.
show up. It would show up for Tim. I gotta say this though. It's gotta be said because I see a lot of people always saying, "Oh, look at the Xbox. It's got torn frames here." Listen, the Xbox, the Series X, in all honesty, it's designed to be a premium gaming experience. And you pair that up, and I'm not trying to be like a snob here, but I'm just stating the facts. You pair it up with a premium TV. Now, if you have a premium TV like a Samsung, an LG TV, and you use VRR, you are not experiencing any of those screen tears. And in fact, you have a butter smooth experience. Like those videos that we've seen with Digital Foundries doing, and like, it's the frame rate's going all over the place and it's inconsistent. That stuff just goes away when you have VRR.
It's a
So
it's a
I just
bonus for
wanna
sure.
say,
I don't think
yeah,
any kind of I just say, look, the graphics are better, the frames are amazing. Anybody with any display will benefit hugely. But yeah, if you wanna try to bypass some of that stuff, you can use VRR. I like to know when games are tearing frames. That way, I know who's optimizing and what they're doing.
Well, that's fine
but,
for 10 minutes, but then throw on that VRR and stop looking at that.
No, because I also want to bring you this hour and 40 minutes of gameplay.
I know that. But when will your DVRs, those external DVRs, be able to record?
Whenever
with
they
VRR?
fucking bring out 2.1 capture cards, which apparently they just
they
gave
need
up
to
on.
do
The
that.
industry said, "Fuck it."
Yeah,
and I've been searching. I don't see anything coming down the pipeline. Like I've messaged companies and they're like, "Oh, well, we're always working on stuff." Like nobody's saying anything, and it's kind of ridiculous because there's a lot of money to be made here from the consoles, from PC, and that's why I'm really honestly grinds my gears with Microsoft, because it's a missed opportunity here for people to share their content out easily,
and representative, right?
Yeah, man, it's just sad, man.
Which is what even this footage, I had to brighten it up like crazy because Far Cry captures at low luminance, even on an external capture card. So I had to brighten it up, and then because of that, I had to go in and change contrast and try to make up the grayscale and the gamma and make sure everything looks accurate. And it's not convenient right now. So it's just game by game. But at the end of the day, the game looks amazing. It's fun as hell. The co-ops drop and drop out. SSDs load shit quick as fuck. And they take us right to Zalker87, who can tell us what have you been playing and where can people find you, brother?
Yeah, man. You guys can find me on Twitter, Zalker87, YouTube, Zalker87. You know the deal. I've been playing a lot of Age of Empires 4, obviously. Trying to get that review out tomorrow for you guys. I have it done, so you'll see that tomorrow. I've been playing a lot of Back 4 Blood, beat that. Guardians of the Galaxy, that game is freaking so much fun. I don't care. Like, everybody should really honestly consider checking it out. If not, wait for its sale. I don't care, but make sure you play that game. A lot of fun. What else have I been playing? Origami 2, a bunch of games, man. You know me. And then Warzone and all those other games. But, just playing a lot of games, having a good time. And chat, appreciate you guys being here. Honestly, you guys power the show like we've always said. And today was a good day, and I can't wait for fucking Forza and Halo, man. It's the next games.
Facts. Yeah. But we'll be playing that soon. I have been playing a shit ton of Far Cry 6. I've got like almost 600 gamer score in this game for a big AAA game like this. Like, that's a lot. And by the time I beat it,
and Far Cry 6 for me too, by the way. Yeah, my bad. I have like 15 hours in that bitch.
yeah, I've got like 15,000 days. I don't know. I've been no life in this game, and it's awesome. I've beaten like 15 other games this month. It seems like too. But man, at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to playing Forza. I'm looking forward to playing Halo. I'm looking forward to Xbox having the best year for gaming of anybody this year. And, I think things are going to get better next year. And Sony's going to have some great games as well. And I think with the hardware we've got now, SSDs, all this power, not even half of it's being leveraged on Xbox, especially all the features and shit, right? It's only going to get so much cooler. So I'm just ecstatic about the future of all this stuff. And I think everyone should be too. So keep your eyes tuned to D-Batch, especially. It'll keep you up to date on when these consoles drop on Twitter. And try to get one of these things if you can't. If you can't, our hearts go out to you. But when you get one, trust me, it's worth the wait. Let us know your thoughts on all the topics and how badly the Halo haters got killed tonight. It was fun. And, of course, if you haven't hit the like button, tell a friend about the show. We do appreciate you. Thanks for rocking out with us for years now. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. Support all these guys. Don Otaku will close it out by saying he's so hyped for the Wu-Tang Clan game, action RPG. The founders have worked on Def Jam, Vendetta, Sleeping Dogs, Skyrim, and Mass Effect. I hope it's good. Man, according to what I heard, which I think we were the ones to talk about this publicly at least, it's like a Battletoads spinoff type game. So, I don't know. I have no idea. 2D, 3D, no idea, no details. But maybe someone does. Maybe someone said something since. Either way, chat, let us know your thoughts on all this stuff. You're amazing. We're out.
Later, everybody.
Peace.